Here we go. Alright, what's up everybody? I owe a lot of you an apology. There was a mix-up. There's been a problem. Now, some of you guys, hair in my mouth, some of you guys may have got a notification just now saying Gemini will be live at 7:30 in like 30 minutes or something like that. And the next thing you know, it's like, oh, hold on a minute, why is it like 5 minutes away? What's going on? It's because I got a little bit confused. So I accidentally typed in 7:30 instead of 7 for this live stream. It was always planned to be 7. And by the time I realised it was 7:30, where I'd actually written, I was like, oh, well, you know, I better get set up. And I started getting set up and my stream deck needed to update, and then OBS needed to update, and then my computer started glitching out. Then I realised I didn't have a beverage. And yeah, there's just been a number of little things that have thrown me off balance and off kilter. But there is still a fair few of you here, and I'd like to say hello. And don't worry about you guys that aren't able to make it, especially not straight away. We're going to be here for a while, so if you intend to stop in or catch the VOD later on, that's absolutely fine, no problem. So, let's say hello to a few of you guys. Hello, Step, what's up? The first guy in. Step at a restaurant right now. Well, look at you. I'm starving. Kit Kat Catsy is in the building as well. Let's do this thing. Shall I ban that word in your stream as well, Catsy? Current Worm, currently in the car. If the stream's long enough to be able to chat, hey, no problem, don't worry, drive safe, get home soon, and hopefully we'll see you in the chat a little bit later on. Kip, guys, I'm going to be streaming the Hard to the Core achievement while... Oh, we've got something to discuss about Hard to the Core, but best of luck, Kip. I really hope you can manage it. I know it's hard. Yes, Remia XL, it was a pain for me. It was a pain for me too, honestly. I haven't actually tried it on the Enhanced Edition of Little Nightmares 1 yet, but I am going to, because I'm very excited to try. What's up, Ghoul Games, Idiotic Bookworm, Painted Gold, KR is in the building, Stinkles is here as well, and excited apparently. Hey Tiny, can't stay here for the whole thing. Hey, don't worry, I don't expect anybody to stay for the whole thing. Like, if you could actually put up with me yapping about nonsense for like the better part of 3 hours without a break, I feel like I owe you money. I don't blame you if you can't stay for the old thing. The classic laughter. The classic chaotic laughter. I'm doing really well. Been stressed, but we're okay. Mama Gem is alright. She's doing fine. I got to see her yesterday, which was lovely. I always appreciate people asking about my mum. Mama Gem is doing well. She's at home. She's comfortable. She's not very well at the moment because it's really cold and it's really windy. There's actually a storm here, which is why I keep eyeballing my bitrate over there, because I'm worried the internet is going to drop out and kick off on me. But yeah, don't worry about it. At current worm, my signal is probably going to be given up as well. I've got all sorts of stuff set up to try and like really, I don't know, really protect my stream from caving in on itself. Oh my god. Oh my god, the Notorious Base is in the building as well. Oh no. Iris Moth, have you seen the new Alone trailer? Yes, I have. And it was amazing. Zachary, I'm glad I'm late for once. Hey, don't worry about it. You're not late, Zach. I'm actually early, question mark, because I screwed up my thing. Little ones, what do you think about my fan-made video about Sounds of Nightmares? Excellent. If you are who I'm thinking of. Brother Base is in the building. Let me just shout out the Notorious Base, because the Notorious Base released a video today that I was a big part of, and I'm really proud of it, and he's really proud of it, and he played Resident Evil 2, the original. However, there's a twist. He played what's known as Biorand, which basically means that they randomize all of the items and all of the enemies, and we added our own like comedic twist on it, and I think it's hilarious. Those of you guys in the chat that have already seen this video have got back to me and said, bro, that was hilarious. So if you want a quick laugh, not yet, but at some point, pop over to the Notorious Base's channel and be sure to check out his most recent video, because it's a blast. Mr. Tibbs is in with the dono as well. Oh my days, we got a bunch of donos and I didn't even notice. I'm not far enough down in chat. But yeah, you guys will notice that I've got a little challenge on the go at the moment, because I found these. Those of you that know will know these things are no joke. And if we flip over at the back, there's different ones, and the hottest one is the Carolina Reaper, which is an absolute nightmare. And those of you guys that know me know that I'm an absolute wimp when it comes to spicy food. But if we do hit the target today, we'll have a bit of fun, and we get to torture me and see me in a little bit of pain, because I've got some of those left over in the packet. There's not many left, but I know there's a Reaper in there because I left it on purpose. Because I didn't want it. Let me just like that. Mr. Tibbs, thank you so much for your kind and generous donation. I know you've only done it because you want to see me in pain. Same for you, Crunchy Doodoo Crumbs. I got a feeling your name is intentional as well. And then the Notorious Base with a bada bing, because the Italian American strikes again. Forget about it. What do you mean, coffee? He's got a helmet, Gem. Gem, I'm making a video based on my law theory. When it's done, could you maybe check it out? I would be more than happy to, Ramir. Feel free to send it to me by any means necessary, or just leave me a comment and let me know it's done, and I'll drop over to your channel and I will take a look for you. Thallium VT, what's up? How you doing? What's up, Harley Gets Grounded? Your name always makes me laugh. Yes, big W's in the chat. What's up, Psychonaut? How you doing? Welcome in. Hope you're doing all right. Oh, Tamira, who's ready for the comic store? Oh my god, the comic store. I checked my Amazon earlier and I don't get the comics until June 24th, which is the day after my birthday next year. I am not that patient. Bro, I can't wait. I'm already, look, I keep rereading the original one from 2017. Descent to Nowhere is going to reveal so much about the Nowhere in general, but I am very interested to see what happens with our boy Mono. I can't. I need to know what's going on, because I hear rumors. I hear things. I see a lot, but I also hear things. Ears work too, right? I actually hear a lot about the Little Nightmares universe, a lot of which I cannot confirm nor deny, and some of which I am sworn to NDA. But, however, Mono plays a very, very big part in the Descent to Nowhere comics, and I am stoked to see what he actually does. Alex the Frog, Descent to Nowhere is 4 days away and I still haven't finished my email for you. Hey, don't worry about it. You're absolutely fine. Take your time. My email will still be there and I will be thrilled to receive it as and when you are ready. There is absolutely no rush at all. What's going on? Stop! Things and stuff and things is that. Mr. Tibbs! Stop! Oh no! Allison with a big dono as well. Look at you guys. Can I get some eyeballs in the chat for my very generous donators? I'm just gonna get rid of this this goal real quick. That's the fastest we've ever hit a goal. I've been live for 9 minutes, less than 10 minutes in, and you are. But so that's the key. So if I want to get paid, I have to suffer. I understand it now. Oh, I get it. Oh, I get it. Oh, no. Oh, no. All right, fine. I will eat another Carolina Reaper jelly bean right here, right now. And I did, unfortunately, say right here, right now. So I have to, don't I? I can't put this off until the end of the stream. I think that goes against the rules. But I have a lot to discuss today as well. I have notes. I have talking points that I want to talk about with you guys today. So the stream will be going on for a couple of hours. Oh, I can't believe you've done this to me already. Tibbs, this is your fault. You hacked the system. You cheated. This isn't fair. Edward, I just pre-ordered the first issue with the DTN comics. Yes, I am glad and I am happy for you, Edward. I bet you can't wait to get into it. Eat the bean. What if you ate them all at the same time? I'd probably explode. Like, I'm not joking. This thing comes with warnings all over it. There's like, you know, like these are really dangerous. Like, they're proper bad. Has anyone had these before? Anybody in chat? Has anybody seen one of these things before? Right, I have to find. Where is it? There's one. There. Look at how, like, it just looks like a giant dried pepper. Oh my days, this thing is. Oh no. I know how bad these are. I've had them before, right? I've done them in challenges in the past, and I just thought, oh, you know what? This is going to be a fun little thing, because I didn't really have a lot to offer you guys as far as hitting the goal goes. But I really don't want to do this thing. Put it in! Put it in! Oh my god, why? Exactly why. Right. Hey, Hey, Gemini, I find a demo in the game. It was the kin and minikin from Sounds of Nightmares. Yes, exactly. The kin and the minikin do feature. And they were in a demo that my friend got to play. A friend that I'm going to discuss very shortly, and that's why I actually have the hard to the core achievement, and I wonder who's most excited about getting the trophies in Little Nightmares 3. Right. Okay. Get some water, soda will make it worse. Yeah, too bad. Yeah, I like how nobody feels sorry for me. Nobody's grieving my... Oh, no. Alright, fine, I'm gonna do it. But, but this is gonna be ugly, and this is your fault. Okay. Ah, Jesus wept. It does, it looks like mold, right? It looks grotesque. It looks awful in every way. The weird thing about these is they don't smell like anything, and that's what's putting me off. Okay, very well then. Thank you to my generous donators. I hate you so very much. Oh my god, it's just immediate regret. The sacrificing in Barbara. Oh my days. Oh my days. Oh, thank you, Caxi. I'm glad you... Someone give him some milk! I'll need some as well. I'm going to try and go as long as I can without having a drink before this thing wears off. Oh. Oh, they are. They're like jelly beans from the nowhere. This is why nobody eats the stuff from there. Bye-bye, Gem. Yeah, thank you, Stinkle. Oh, Fallen Angel, what's up? Oh my god, I'm seeing angels already. Look what it's done to me. Oh. No, I got ads. Don't worry. Don't worry. This is gonna last a while. He needs some milk. Oh my god, I really do. Nope. No, I hate it. I know, right? I'm turning red. I will honestly. I'm gonna. There's people just tuning into the stream now that think this is just how I talk normally. Just so I'm going to hold this up so that you guys are aware of what's actually happening to me. Oh, no, they suck. I'm totally fine. I'm totally fine. But Jesus Christ, these things are absolutely no joke. That hit very, very hard. Yeah, absolutely brutal. Absolutely brutal. I know, my face is over. I'm not surprised my face is so red. I'm surprised that it hasn't blown up. He's entering the nowhere. It's not even funny. I don't really... They suck. They really suck. Like, I'm not joking. They are... Are you seeing the threshold? Sink into these tiles. What? How good it are. Yes, they're jelly beans, Fallen Angel, but... They're bean boozled. They're extremely hot jelly beans, and they have like a chili, like essence of chili in them. So they come in all different flavors, and I just consumed a Carolina Reaper one, which is the hottest one in the pack. It sucks. It really sucks. It's absolutely brutal. I did. Tamara, it's gone. I swallowed it. It's burning me inside now. And you know what, right? In the nowhere, you notice that the children don't really pick up or eat anything apart from sticks, and when they do, it's always disgusting. Even in the candy factory, they're surrounded by lollipops and gumdrops, and what you can expect is like nice sweet treats. I bet they taste like this! Gem, do you need a doctor? I know a guy, trust me. Never again. Oh, God, the heartburn. Okay. Have you seen the new low? Oh, JRPO. I have not. I didn't know there were low and alone U2s. I know there's 6 and mono. Oh my god, it's giving me a toothache. Help! Help me! Do something! Okay. Am I permitted now to have some of this beverage? Now that I've overcome the worst of it? Now that I have sustained that damage for you guys, for your benefit, and for... It's genuinely giving me toothache. Like, this side of my mouth hurts. I can bring some milkshake right now. What's your favourite flavour? Vanilla. I'm really boring. Are you okay? Yeah, I know. I'm totally fine. I don't worry. I'm absolutely fine. I did it on purpose. These things suck, and honestly, there were some generous donations there, and those donations all go to the same place, for those of you guys that don't know, and I'm sure you all do by now because there's a lot of loyal viewers in here. There's a lot of Geminists, as Mr. Tibbs calls you. Not me! That's not what I call you guys. Oh my god, I rubbed my eye. Mistakes were made. Rookie error. Oh no, rigged. This sucks. Right, 1 second. We don't feel bad. Eat the whole box, JK. Hey, Billy Bob, what's up? Oh, Billy Bob, I hope you didn't just miss me suffering, but I just had to eat one of these. Yeah, sorry, what was I saying? All of my donations go to the same place. My mum, Mama Gem, is a very, very lovely and wonderful woman, and she sadly has lung cancer and is undergoing treatment. We here in the UK do not pay for that treatment. However, she has to pay to get to and from the hospital, and she's undergoing experimental treatments in alternative cities where she has to stay and is not accommodated for. So I try to help out with that as best I can, and all of your generous donations, every penny that I get from these live streams, they all come straight to me and then straight to Mama Gem. And they pay for her taxis and her hotels and any other services that she might need to keep her comfortable. So thank you guys so much. I don't mind suffering a little bit. I could, like, if I got enough donations, I would do the entire box. Like, there is nothing I wouldn't do. Ow. There is nothing I wouldn't do. There is no pain I would not suffer to make my mum happy and comfortable. So thank you guys so much for being a part of that. That was a lot of fun. I wasn't expecting to do it at the beginning of the stream before I hit all of my talking points. So thanks, guys. But yeah, much love to my generous donators right there. Much love to Mama Gem. I know she's probably not watching right now, to be honest. She doesn't watch my streams very often. And when she does, she can't really interact because she's one of these that types with one finger, like H, E, L, where's O? You know, she's not very good with technology. But yes, I did. I gave consent. It's absolutely fine. It sucks for me because I do actually have the Ice Bucket Challenge tomorrow. That's coming up. Tomorrow I actually have to undergo the Ice Bucket Challenge. In fact, it was supposed to be sooner. I was supposed to do the Ice Bucket Challenge sooner because I guessed in a live stream a while ago that that Little Nightmares 3 would be released on the 5th of October. And if I was wrong, I would perform a forfeit of some description. And I give you guys a lot of options, these of which were one of them. But the Ice Bucket Challenge is the next thing that's coming up. And sadly, I was wrong. Because it's not the 5th, it's the 10th. And although I was close, it's not good enough. And I have the ice and I have the bucket, and it is now closing in on winter time. Well, it's actually autumn because it's close to Halloween, but it's very cold here. Well, it's not cold for me. I'm boiling right now because obviously I'm just eating a freaking Carolina Reaper. But my tongue still burns. I got a feeling it's like bright red. Anyway, I will be doing the Ice Bucket Challenge tomorrow. It was supposed to be today. I was going to do it and record it and actually publish it before this live stream. Lord, now he's going blind. All right, honestly. Just walking failures out here. I have a huge, strong gentleman who was going to lift said ice bucket for me because it weighs like 60 kilos when it's like full of ice and water, and I need it up above my head. And sadly, my big muscular friend has done himself an injury. So I have reached out to another very large and very muscular friend of mine who's going to do the job, hopefully tomorrow. And if not, I will find a way to rig up a pulley system and I'll just ice bucket myself. So, well, whatever it takes. But it'll get done because I owe that to you guys, because I am a failure. Oh yeah, that was that. Oh my god, that feels so nice. I'm so glad I put ice in this. I nearly didn't put ice in my beverage today. Oh, give me some cool on my face. Ah, my days. Eat the entire box. No, but I have set another goal and I will do another one. So if we get to another 5 donations, then I actually will do it. Oh my god, Catsy. days, that's a big one as well. For Mama Gemma Luna, much love to her, and for you, Gemini, you're amazing. I hope this helps. Catsy, it really, really does. You are an absolute gem and a diamond, and I am very, very grateful for you. Thank you so much. And I know, and see, Catsy's donation came from a place of love and kindness. It didn't come from a place of pain and wanting to watch me suffer. No, Catsy wants to see me happy, and she wants to see my mum smile. You guys suck. You guys just want to see me in pain. But yeah, I absolutely will do another one of these. Catsy, thank you so much. That is absolutely huge to me. Like, that will straight up pay for the travel expenses for pretty much an entire day. Like, that will cover everything. She's very, very happy. Honestly, that's huge for me. Thank you so much. It really is. I think I've sounded... Excuse me. Let's try that again. In English this time. I think I found something massive in one of the trailers for Little Nightmares 3. Remia XL, please feel free to elaborate. I'm sure we're all very interested, as am I. I want to know. Tell us immediately. Reveal your secrets. You're not a failure, Gemini, I swear. I will summon my CMDs there and tell you off. Oh no, Tibbs is back. Tibbs is back chipping away with his big... Tibbs, you suck. I hate you so much. Hey, Puppy Queen, what's up? It's me, Periscope. What's up, Periscope? How you doing? Periscope and Puppy Queen have entered the building. You guys have just missed me being in pain. I just had to eat one of these live on stream, and it's so... Tibbs, stop! Immediately! Stop cheating! I know what you're doing. I see the plan. You suck. I guess you could call her a gem, and I see what you did there. We know what you're about. Oh, Rex Uncle, have a great time at your wedding. I'm really glad you got to see me suffer before you left. Have a great time, and I hope everything is good for you. But it is for me. My tooth really hurts now. Because the thing about these that sucks is the fact that not only are they caging hot and they burn for like half an hour afterwards, Tibbs, I swear on everything holy, I know where you live and I've seen where you sleep, and your mother will cry when she sees what I've done to you. No, one more. Don't do it. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. Tibbs, I appreciate what you're doing and I love you for it, man. But I've got stuff to talk. I came here to stream. I came here to talk. That everyone is here to listen to me yap about Little Nightmares. Not everyone came to see me suffer this pain. Gotta go now, Fallen Angel, no worries. Have a great time, whatever you decide to do tonight. Fallen Angel, it's been a pleasure having you here. Thank you so much for coming and blessing me with a little bit of pain relief. Mr. Tibbs, how I doing? Oh, Tibbs, I know why you're doing this. I know why you're doing this. You suck. You suck. Very well. Jesus wept. Eat the bean now. The last one hasn't worn off yet. Run, Gem. Right, let me just find a really hot one. Where is it? Is that a really hot one? Is that red? Because as you guys can see, there's a few different colours in here. You get like red and yellow and orange, and they're all different flavours. But I said that I will eat the hottest one in the pack, which is the Carolina Reaper, which is the red one. It's the red one with the... Oh! I dropped it. 3-second rule. Oh, my days. So I'll eat this thing. As brutal as these are, they're literally like coated. Even the outside of them is like coated. That's why my eyes sting right now, because I keep on touching my face and you're not supposed to. These things have got like Carolina Reaper dust on them. Oh god, yeah, you can like it's immediate. It's like very, very fast and immediate. Oh, this is so sad. I love how Bookworms turned on me all of a sudden as well. You guys are supposed to be my fans. You're supposed to be my friends. Right, before I eat it, I'm going to set up another goal. Right, I'll do one more. I will eat. I might regret this. But I don't think you guys can keep it up. If I can. There you go. There. I've changed it. I may regret this. But here we go. Right, okay, let me just have a quick. Right, came here to talk about the possible sacrificial nature of the necropolis, not see some big brick get tortured to pay for his mother's cancer. Yeah, exactly. This is the thing. People came here for a reason. I'm supposed to be talking. Listen, do what you gotta do. Here for the final theory craft. Mochi Kitty, I am glad you're here. Mochi or Moki? I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, but Kitty, hello and welcome. I'm glad you're here. I am just about to suffer a very brutal and very hot, flaming hot fire challenge. Tibbs made me! Mrs. Tibbs! Mrs. Tibbs, why did you do this? Oh no. Right, look. I'm gonna do it. There you go. Right, you ready? 3, 2, 1. Enough talk. Oh, right. Watch my face. Oh, Jesus, what? I'm trying so hard not to swear as well. Mrs. Tibbs, I'm going to love heart your comment. I fully... Jesus. Mrs. Tibbs, I believe you wholeheartedly. I'm on your side. Oh, no. Oh, God, no. I swallowed. I swallowed while it was still dry on my tongue. Oh God, Gemma, you're digging your own grave. Yeah, I know, right? I know. I've made a mistake. It feels bad. Oh my days. Oh, I have to distract myself somehow. I'm trying to distract myself by talking to chat, but whenever I eat one of these things, all of you guys go quiet. Talk to me. Distract me, damn it. I like all of you guys are just watching me suffer. Help me. Help me. I am actually sweating. Alex the Frog is absolutely right. What's up, Caleb Hibbert? Hello and welcome to the stream. I'm not crying, you're crying. Yeah, for those of you guys just tuning in, I'm crying because my generous donators have just got me to a point where I have to eat one of these things. And I ate the hottest one in the pack. And it's killing me and I'm still chewing it. I should probably swallow it, but my throat hurts so much. My mouth's on fire, Barbara. Idiotic bookworm, everyone's day silent. Why have you guys turned on me? Rigged. Gemini, blink twice if you need help. I'm blinking, damn it. Puppy, help me. Maybe stop killing him, guys. Well, I stand by what I said. All of these donations go towards helping my mum who is sick. I promise you, I am suffering. I genuinely am. This sucks. Oh, I touched my face. Oh, I touched my eyeballs. Oh. Bro, what did I do? Uh-oh. Wait, is my eye bleeding? Am I bleeding? I might be bleeding. Oh, damn. That was more than twice, he's fine. Rest in peace, Gemini. I don't like seeing him suffer. Sorry to ask, but Gemini, did you see the fan art of Echo? No, I did not, Kip. I didn't get to see. Oh my God, it's stuck in my teeth. Come, I've got a toothpick for this very reason. Oh, why the pain? Fear of the artistic. Hello there. Hello and welcome to the stream. I'm glad I'm glad you're here. I'm so sorry if I am incoherent and like absolute. Maybe you should go wash your hands. I should, but I'm not going to. I am going to stay here. I'm going to stay here and I'm going to show you guys how tough I am. I'm going to prove that this won't beat me. Kip, I sadly did not get to see it, but I absolutely am going to look at it. Please let me know where you posted it. I can't have it yet because it's not all gone. There's still some in my mouth. I promise you, on everything I can possibly imagine, I am not a religious person, but I promise you on everything holy, you cannot, you can't subjugate me to, you can't subject me to enough pain to not do this. And I only say that because all of the money goes to my mum, and my mum is like my absolute world, as you guys know. And this is all just a bit of fun, but the donations do genuinely mean a lot to me. They are very, very important, and And yeah, I'm stoked to have them. But now I know how to get them. I just have to suffer and subject myself to pain. Next week, tune into Gemini drinks battery acid. I'm drinking Dr. Pepper. It's so crisp and cold. Screw you, Scop. Nobody asked you. Is this what happens when you throw you in prison after you don't say you like the government? Yeah, basically that's the thing. If we speak up, this is the thing. I don't want to be live right now. I don't want to be doing this right now. I'm under pressure. No, I can't say I'm totally fine, honestly. Like legitimately, I would not be doing this if it was like really detrimental to me. If there was like something really bad, you know, if there was like a genuine risk, like obviously the battery acid thing is like, well, duh, don't be stupid. But like these, they suck. They're not a joke. They're really hardcore. They really hurt. A couple of you guys will have seen these before. A couple of you guys will have had. In fact, Mr. Tibbs has had these before, and I've seen it. And they suck, and he can vouch for me. They're not a joke. They really suck. That's why they come with warnings and stuff all over them. They're potentially dangerous, especially if you misuse them. Which is why I'm only having one at a time. I'm trying to. Gemini drinks gnome blood. Right. Gem, how many fingers am I holding up? 12. Are you allergic to spices? No, I'm just super pale. Can't see. Like, I turn super red because obviously it's like an adrenaline spike because my body is in panic mode. Because these are so hot that your heart starts to race and your adrenaline spikes and you start breathing erratically. And they're like super hot. So naturally I get like a big spike in blood, like a blood circulation. But because I'm so very pale and pasty, I turn bright red really quickly. Yeah, eventually I will look like the guy on the packet. That's the way this is going. Can't handle spicy food. You're a warrior, Jeff. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Oh my days. Whew. Damn, that was brutal. That was absolutely brutal. Right, guys, I just want to really quickly talk about something that is coming up. Because I did actually come here to talk about Little Nightmares 20 minutes, half an hour ago, and I've been suffering the whole time. Alison, I'm fine. Thank you so much. Basically saying is always... Oh, Tibbs, I swear. I swear if you hadn't done it. So... Little Nightmares. I want to talk Little Nightmares. That is what people came here for. That's what I came here for. And I do have some things to talk about. But there is one thing that I want to discuss first. I have a very dear friend named RJ. He has a YouTube channel called Casual Hardcore Gamers. And he specializes in getting platinum trophies. Like doing expert level runs and doing like all the trophies. All the trophies in all the games. And that's actually what he does. I work with RJ on his channel, and I did a lot of the editing work for him, and excuse me, God, this is repeating badly, we have an upcoming Little Nightmares video where he, soon enough, is going to be getting all the trophies in all the games. Little Nightmares 1, Little Nightmares 2, and Little Nightmares 3 after it's released. He's already pre-ordered the game, and he's well on his way. I know he's already conquered a good few of the challenges that take place in it. And today, after this live stream, like pretty much directly after this stream, he is going to attempt the Hard to the Core challenge on Little Nightmares 1 live. And I think we should raid him. What do you guys think? Because I feel like a lot of us could go and show him support, and some of us could just straight up troll him. I intend to be trolling him. Because he's my friend and I'm allowed to. But the reason I wanted to know how many of you guys are interested in getting all of the trophies is because not only is he live tonight after this stream, and I feel like we should go and raid him, but also because that video is going to be made, it's going to be made by him. He's the one doing the runs, but I'll be editing it. and it would mean a lot to me if you guys could pop over there and show my friend RJ some love over at Casual Hardcore Gamers. So towards the end of the stream, like obviously not now because we have more Little Nightmares theories to discuss and some really, really deep and dark stuff as well that I really, really want to cover that's been revealed to us from the book by the wonderful E.C. Myers, The Lonely Ones. There is a lot to cover, a lot to talk about, and I am going to get into it. But I wanted to put that out there about RJ first because this is a big deal for him, and he's actually doing it for me. The games he normally plays are more like, you know, your traditional games, your racing games, your Neos, your Black Myth Wukong, your Lies of P, your Resident Evils, you know, games like that, big AAA games. And I've been asking him for what feels like years to do Little Nightmares, and he's finally agreed to it. So, yeah. I'm absolutely there. I'm absolutely ready. Yeah, absolutely. We'll raid RJ in a little while. When he goes live, I should get a notification regarding his live stream. I'll have to double check exactly when it is. I am not sure exactly when it's supposed to be. But it is supposed to be taking place after this one. He lives in the United States, actually. Cooking with this, I swear. Periscope, wait, what are you cooking with? Are you cooking with oil? Are you cooking with chili? You better not be. You better not be cooking with pepper. Hey, Kip's got to go. Hey, no problem. That's absolutely fine, Kip. No worries. Kip, I'm very excited to see your fan art of my OC character Echo. I really, really want to see that. And in fact, I'm gonna have a quick look if I can find it when they. When a chat slows down just a touch, because obviously I don't want to miss anybody's important comments. What if Lo and Alone get the same fate as the kids who got turned to the thing they desire or love, except it only happened to Alone, so Lo has to fight Alone? No. Periscope, can you imagine if Lo and Alone have to fight each other at the end? Who would win? Who would win? Like, okay, there's a question for you guys. Who would win? If Lo and Alone do have to fight to the death at the end, and they do decide to, you know, say they don't decide to just hug and be friends and be like, we're not going to fight each other for your entertainment. Like, what if that's actually the case? And what if they do fight? Who would win? Ah, bro took the notebook out. Yeah, straight up, I've got the notebook out. So, I've got a theory. And... Oh, wait. Do you think Lo becomes the mall entity in theatre of the mind, trying to connect the dots with the common idea that Lo and Alone eventually separate and the episode quote, "Don't leave me alone"? Yeah, now that's powerful, KR, and I like that you're tying it back to the Sounds of Nightmares, and it's interesting, and it's possible, it is possible, because anything is possible in nowhere, but I'm not sure if it'll be Lo, because... Again, I'm going to reference this, I'm going to bring it up. Little Nightmares, The Lonely Ones. Those of you guys that haven't read this, this is your spoiler warning. I'm going to talk about this in detail because there's some stuff in this and it's dark, but it goes deep. And if you look into this book and you take it in context, if you take a lot of stuff out of context, there are links you can make to other sources of media like The Sounds of Nightmares. In fact, a lot of it, well, all of it, takes place in the carnival. So we get to see some very familiar sights, not necessarily faces, but sights. And I'm going to reference those a lot. So any of you guys that don't want to be spoiled on the Sounds of on the Lonely Ones by E.C. Myers novel, this is your opportunity to mute. Don't leave. You're not allowed to leave, but mute if you don't want to hear. But there are a number of things. And KR, back to your theory, they actually find Lo's mask in the carnival. So I don't necessarily think that he will be the mall entity if he becomes anything at all. I think he's going to be more intricately linked to the carnival in one way or another. But we don't know when this takes place. We don't know if this comes before or after the game that we play, because we don't know if they captured Lone and took his mask and put it in the carnival, and that's why our heroes find it there, or if this took place before he finds the mask, and we get to see him do so when we play Little Nightmares 3 for ourselves in 6 days' time. Also, I keep slapping my book. Stop slapping the book, Gem. Put it down. Be gentle. Depending on which character you play as, like Lo, for example, you probably see how his story ends. Same thing could apply for Lo. You know, Caleb, that's actually what I considered when playing the demo, because I played it through as alone first, and then I played it through as law, because I wanted to see if they have a different ending scene. Like I wondered if it changed the end sequence if you play as law or alone. It doesn't. Again, spoiler alert, but it doesn't. So, but it's curious because I've seen a number of people speculating on, will there be multiple endings? Like, is there going to be a good ending and a bad ending? Is there going to be a low ending and an alone ending? What do you guys think of that? I think there will just be one consistent ending throughout. I don't think it's going to change. I don't think they'll open us up to that level of speculation. But it's not outside of the realm of possibility, and we don't know until we play. Also, I think there'll be a secret ending. I think there will be something that's revealed to us if we get all the collectibles, because we know there are collectibles. Have to leave now. No worries, Iris Moth. Thank you so much for being here. It's been an absolute pleasure having you. Blues Clues. What's a steak? Hey, I don't know if I said hello to you already. Yeah, sorry if I repeat myself, by the way, guys. Or sorry if I've been skipping over chat. But my head was on fire. I hope you understand. Low wind is got a bow. What's Alone gonna do about it? I don't know. Maybe she could like hide behind her wrench because it's kind of bigger than her face, so she could essentially use it as a shield. Like she could spin the magnet around and wear it on her front, and she could attach the wrench to her front, and then she could just run with it like a shield, and then just club him with it at the end. But yeah, it would be interesting. But yeah, the fact that Law has a ranged weapon definitely gives him a distinct advantage straight off the bat. If they were to fight. The writer said his favourite moment in the story happens on page 73. What's happening there? Shall we explore? Alex the Frog. Page 73. Page 73 is where the performer is gone and Mim is gone. Feast waits. Oh yeah, okay. So Feast looks down at something on the floor, caught in the door. He bends over and picks it up. It's Mim's rope. Now, Mim. There are 3 characters in this book, and I'm going to talk about it at length. Forgive me if I seem ignorant of chat last week. Okay, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm just going to read like 2 or 3 more comments, and then I'm going to break this down, because I'm going to break down what is going to be an upcoming theory on my channel, and this one is heavy. It's dark, it's deep, it's intrusive, and I love it. And I think there's a lot to be said for it. And I think it's revealed to us in this. And I really want to discuss it, but I also don't want to be super ignorant of chat, because you guys know how much respect I have for you. So, here we go. I got an ad just now, what happened? Did I pre-order the first issue? Yes, Edward, good on you. Good on you. I pre-ordered the first issue ages ago, but I'm not going to get it for a good long while. I live in the UK, and it sucks here, so there's a good chance. I didn't get this for ages. I was trying to find this for so long, trying to get it delivered. I didn't get that until like 2 weeks after its release. I was so furious. 6 days, says Gaius. Yeah, absolutely. Going back to last week with the Norway being trans-dimensional, I think the little girl is different. Is a different version of 6, hence the name 6, as we know there are 6 versions of the same girl. There's always a little girl. Mr. Tibbs, I see what you're digging for there, my brother. Interesting theory as well. I'd love for there to be multiple endings. That would be amazing. It also means you can play the game through more than once. I have a feeling it's only going to be the one. Likewise, Catsy, which is why I think there'll be a secret ending, or I think there will be an incentive to play it through more than once. Obviously, the incentive being the mechanics are completely different for both characters. Well, essentially, there is a difference in mechanics, albeit minor, for either. It's like playing Pokemon Red and Blue. They're the same game with minor differences. But playing as Law or Alone could be... it could eventually be like a real turning point for the structure of the games moving forward, because I think there will be more of them. Dang it. It's where Mim gets kidnapped. Yes, Idiotic Bookworm is right. I concur. It does in fact suck. Yeah. That's why I'm just buying the ebooks. Yeah, Tiny, I've been trying to get hold of the ebook as well for so long, and I just can't. I don't know why. I mean, I'm more than happy to sit and read the book, but sometimes I'm like, if I'm out on a walk or I'm at the gym or I'm working, I'm a really busy dude. So finding time to actually sit and read, it took a lot longer to read the book than I wanted to. And the book is short. Like, the book is reasonably short. It's only like 150 pages. 155 pages. So it's short, it's a quick read. It's not like labour intensive, oh my god, it's going to take so long, it's loads of research. It's not. I can do it in 45 minutes, casually, sitting with a nice cup of tea, which I did, and it was wonderful. But yeah, I would have liked to have the quiet, have the opportunity to just listen to a professional narrator, because there is an audiobook and it does exist. I think there's a young lady, I think is she called Annalise, the narrator, Annalise or Amy or something like that. I forget the narrator's name, I'm so sorry, I will find it out at some point, but yeah, there is a professionally narrated version that I am going to purchase anyway. I can't wait to see that. It's on Kindle. I don't have a Kindle. I want a Kindle. Anywho, here we go. Little Nightmares, The Lonely Ones. I'm going to talk about this. So, spoiler alert for Little Nightmares, The Lonely Ones by A.C. Myers. I'm going to talk about this, and I am going to open with a very deep and very dark theory that I think explains quite a lot about not only the nature of the nowhere and the visitors within it, but how they get there. And it's worse than you think. So, this book, we are introduced straight away to 3 new characters. 2 girls, 1 boy. The main girl is a character called Ruse, and Ruse is untrusting. She's very defensive and very flighty, and she's not sure if she can trust the other children she finds herself surrounded by, those being her new friends, Feast and Mim. Feast is the next one, and he's like a weak, emaciated, and frankly disgusting boy. It's like labelled on here, under no uncertain circumstances, he's gross. He wears a mask, he coughs a lot, he's like really skinny, he's grimy, he smells really bad, and but he's lovely. He's like wonderful company, like he's kind of brave. And he's like, even though he's like weakened, like he's in a really weakened state because he's emaciated and he's absolutely starving, he still finds it in himself to go back and help his friends when they find themselves in sticky situations. Like, he is like the bravest character out of the 3 of them. And then, yes, Annalise Scott, that's the one. Thank you, Idiotic Bookworm, for your confirmation. Annalise Scott is the narrator of the audiobook version of this, which is available on Audible and apparently on Kindle and a bunch of other platforms. I just don't have it, but I want it. Finally, my favourite character in this book is Mim. Mim is a little girl who is practically mute. She barely speaks a word in the entirety of this book. The characters don't talk very much anyway. It really sticks to the aesthetic, so you can imagine you can imagine this story playing out as if you were in control of these characters, running through the environments and things like that. Mim barely speaks. None of the characters really do, but the only word I recall Mim ever using in this book is her name in the first chapter, where she introduces herself as Mim. And Mim has the darkest implications, because Mim is described as a little girl in like a white, tattered, like barely held together dress with a frayed rope wrapped in a noose around her neck all the time. And then she's got like dirty, messy hair and things like that. Now, Mim is my favourite character, because Mim has an incredible character arc through this. She doesn't speak, but I think there's a reason for that. There's a reason for a lot. Mim is a very, very interesting character. Not necessarily because of her name, but because of some of the implications given to us in Chapter 1 that are eventually revealed. Yes, Catsy. Yes, she is. So, I'm going to explain Mim a little bit more, and then I'm going to tell you what I think about her. Mim barely speaks. She only uses one word in pretty much the whole thing. We already know her description, and her behavior throughout is kind of bizarre. She's very reserved. She's very shy. She's very closed. She tends to let the others lead. Like, so she'll just follow along, and a lot of the time, like, when they're doing something, you know, so like Feast will be looking in some bushes, and Ruse will be looking out at the horizon trying to find a way off the carnival, and Mim will just sort of be sitting there rocking, holding her knees, just like waiting for somebody to tell her what to do, because she's just really, really reserved. Now, Mim doesn't really interact with anybody. She stays very, very quiet. But as the story progresses, she starts to get more brave and more intuitive and more exploratory. There's one point in chapter 3, I believe it might be chapter 3, forgive me if I'm misquoting, but one of the tents, like one of these tents falls down and collapses, and the wooden structure falls in, and it breaks some of these stringed lights right here that you can see on the cover. And those stringed lights, the bulbs burst, and they start to spurt like electricity, so like sparks and electricity. So you think, oh well, don't touch that, it's obviously very dangerous. It starts a fire. It catches fire on the fabric, and it burns. Mim approaches the sparking light bulb, and she's like, oh, pretty. You know, she doesn't say that, but she reaches out and tries to touch it. She's never seen electricity before. She has no idea what it is. And she's trying to touch it, and the others pull her away. They're like, what, are you crazy? Have you never seen electricity before? And I don't think she does. I do not think she does. Because it's alluded to in the first one, and you guys might remember I made a theory about 6 months ago, back in June near my birthday during a live stream, where I suspected that children in the Nowhere, the visitors, not only come from different places, but different periods of time. And I think that their subconscious bleeds into the Nowhere and gives it life, which is why we find so many different areas that don't seem to fit together, because they're decades, if not centuries, apart. And Ruse is talking about, she looks at these two children, and she describes them as, they don't look like they're from her school. They don't even look like they're from her time. Because they're not. They're from different times. Now, Feast might be from a time that's closer to Ruse's. Not a good time by any stretch, because he's undergoing famine. He's hungry. He's starving all the time, permanently. He's emaciated. He's skeletal. Ruse comes from a potentially modern time, because she accessed the Nowhere via a swimming pool in her grandmother's backyard, which is, like, arguably a very modern thing. Mim, however, is dressed very, very modestly. She's literally just got like one dress. It's all tattered. It's just sort of a war-torn white robe held together with patches and sewwork, and she wears a rope around her neck. She doesn't know what electricity is. So that says to me that Mim potentially comes from a time before electricity. So that got me thinking, oh, maybe the Dark Ages. Maybe she was accused of witchcraft or something like that. Because women back in the day, like during the Salem witch trials and everything like that, people in the Dark Ages, particularly women and children, little girls even, were accused of witchcraft and would be publicly executed. They would be hung, they would be burned, they would be crucified, they'd do all sorts of terrible, horrible things to them. And Mim could be from that time. And I was like, oh, maybe there's something in there. I don't think that's true. But I do think, I do think it's true, but not the time period. I think I was mistaken with my initial prediction. I think she's way, way before that. If we yeah, I know, right? Yeah, Alex, exactly. Calling an emaciated kid Feast, and that's the first thing out of his mouth is he says feast, and he's starving to death, and he constantly eyes up food all the way through. But back to Mim. I think Mim is from ancient Greece. Because of her appearance, yes, but more so because of her name. So if you look up the word Mim and the meaning of the word Mim, it just means sort of like shy, reserved. You know, like in English, this is. If you look at it, sort of like shy, reserved, quiet, Mim. That's what it means. And it's like, oh, well, of course, because she is shy and quiet and reserved. So there you go, there's the meaning of her name. However, if you think about it, mim in Greek, if you look at ancient Greek, mim, the word mim in ancient Greek is derived from the word mimos. Mimos means to imitate, especially when in reference to an actor, a performer, or a mimic, someone who copies your movements. Okay, or somebody that mimics, or somebody that performs on a stage. There were very low society level entertainers back in ancient Greece, were mimics. But the word mimos, there's a lot of different like extensions of it. Mimos, let me just see, Greek meaning, Greek definition and meaning. Yeah, now that's the English version, which is like modest. Ancient Greek mim meaning. There. The mimos was an imitative performance or performer. In Greece, as elsewhere, the instinct for imitation found in its expression in the mimetic. Now, that is like, okay, cool, like a mime. Yes, exactly, like a mime or an imitator. Now, something else that's a big spoiler. This thing that some people assume was the man in the purple suit, and it could very well be, but I think this thing is a reference to the only resident that we see in here that is not a herd. We get to meet, oh, see you later, no worries, those of you guys that have to go, don't feel bad, it's absolutely fine, you have no problem at all. But I appreciate you being here, and thank you very much. We meet one significant resident in this book, and his name is the Performer. Yeah? He's described as a mime with a painted face and a striped shirt. A typical mime, but obviously of the nowhere. So it looks like this. It doesn't look like us. You know, it doesn't look like a typical mime that you would actually enjoy watching. It looks like this. But the Performer has a special power, much like the lady has the power to turn people into gnomes, and the Thin Man has the power of, for the televisions and the static and the and warping reality, and the Pretender can make people disappear. The Performer has a captivating presence, meaning that the characters in the story, our heroes even, Ruse and Feast, and especially Mim, copy his movements upon seeing them. So if he is throwing apples at one of them, then Mim would copy him. Just by default, she'd be forced into it. Everything in the world around them would go silent, like a mime, because mimes perform in silence, and the world would sort of like warp and change around them, and they would be forced to act out the performer's actions as he performs. So he would actively pull Mim onto the stage and force her to be a part of his performance, where he eventually paints her face and she ends up becoming a part of the act. And he like winds her up and makes her walk around like a zombie, and she will actively imitate him, and so will the others if they watch him for too long, because he's a mimic, he's a performer. And Mim, she is like, he's intrinsically linked with her. And that's so strange, don't you think? Like, that is a really interesting and intricate link between the character Mim and the main antagonist in the story. And there is a particular part of this story that I'll go into more in my theory, but it's also the darkest part of this theory. And it also comes back to page 73, which was the author's favourite part, where Feast finds Mim's rope on the ground. Because the Performer steals Mim away. He takes her away and he puts her on stage and he makes her perform, and she is eventually rescued by our heroes Feast and Ruse. And when they rescue her and they pull her away, they return her rope, her frayed rope in the shape of a noose, which has several dark connotations behind it. Okay? Now, that theory, that should be like, well, it's death, it's a representation of death. And I think you're right. And that sucks. Because Mim, upon receiving her noose back, cradles it. She brings it close to her chest and she cradles it. And I think that is metaphorically her way of embracing death. She sees the concept of death as a release from what she's had to suffer. She sees death as a relief, an escape, a way out of the life she has to live, which is presumably very, very unpleasant. And the fact that she's seen holding on to that noose for dear life and cradling it and embracing it in that way shows that there is a good chance she got to the nowhere of her own accord, by way of what. And I think that has more standing because so does Ruse. The main character in the story makes her way to the nowhere and she can't figure out quite how she got there. But it is implied a miserable life before. One full of neglect, potential abuse, and some disturbing happenings going on around her neighbourhood. So she, persuaded potentially by the ferryman, jumps into a swimming pool in her grandmother's backyard and drowns herself. Get it? You see the link? You see the so the ferryman, I think it's like it is through dreams, like, because obviously before these characters die, they pass out. So when she's it's the absence of breath, right? So she's drowning and she's hanging and all the rest of it. And I really hope I don't get cancelled for saying these words live on the internet. But the implications of the story are the darkness. Like, the darkness of their reality is so bad that they want to escape it. These children want to escape their reality so badly that they see the only way out as abandoning ship in the worst possible way. And the ferryman offers a guiding hand, the same way he did to Noon when she lost hope. When all hope was lost and she had nothing left to go for, and she was just like, right, you know what, I'm done, I need out of this situation, my life is terrible, I'm in constant pain, I can't handle anything else. The ferryman shows up and he's like, I can show you a way out. And he does. And it's always through sleep. Like, obviously we know Little Nightmares is based in a nightmare world that you establish a connection through sleep. These characters will be forced into sleep, presumably by the fact that they're drowning and hanging and all the rest of it. So just before they cross the sill, just before they cross the threshold into death, they meet in the middle, in the nowhere, in purgatory, granted access to it by the ferryman who guides them in and offers them one last chance to decide, is your life really that bad that you want it to be over, or can I subject you to something so much worse that you'll be grateful for what you have when that rope breaks and you hit the ground, or when the shadows you saw above you pull you out of the water and resuscitate you, right? I think it's purgatory. I think the nowhere and a lot of the implications in this book and the characters within it, they speak to having a direct connection with the characters themselves. Obviously the performer's direct link to Mim in the story being the prime example in this one. And at the end of the story, she manages to overcome not only her fear of him, but the level of possession to a point where she is then in control of her fate. And that's the character arc. She becomes strong, brave and confident, where in the beginning she was shy, quiet, scared and reserved. And right at the end of it, she becomes in control. And it gets to a point where right at the very end of the story, and again, I'm so sorry for the spoilers, but you guys will already know, when she takes the hands of Ruse and Feast and they've overcome the fear of the performer, Mim takes a bow and the performer is forced to take a bow. And because she is then in control of her fear and therefore in control of her fate. And then they jump. So, I have got a lot more to open up and unzip about that theory, because obviously I'm going to be rereading this and I'm going to be checking my sources and I'm going to be cross-referencing it with the Sounds of Nightmares and the games and seeing what else I can learn. I also want to run it against what we get to see in 6 days time when Little Nightmares 3 finally does come out. I'll release the theory whether it's right or wrong, because I think it's interesting to think about, but I'd really like to know what you guys think of that theory. And I'm going to get back to reading some of your comments. Thank you so much for listening to my onslaught right there, but I felt like there was a lot to unpack and a lot that you needed to understand if you wanted to get the impact of that theory and what it really says about the story, about the characters, and about the Nowhere itself. So, what did you think? What are your thoughts? The Egyptians believed the most significant thing you could ever do in your life was die. Bookworm makes a very, very interesting point, because the necropolis, she's right, first of all. She's absolutely right that the Egyptians did say that, because that was like there was a lot built around death. That's why they had Anubis, the god of death. Well, yeah, essentially the god of death, but you know what I mean. Anyway, the ancient mythology, and it sort of ties into the necropolis, because in the necropolis you see some places of what look like a ritual sacrifice, where you've got a group of dwellers standing there, and then you've got an eye drawn in salt around one of them that seems to be praying as if he's been offered to as a sacrifice to the monster baby, as a means to satiate her or pacify her, for want of a better term. So yeah, it's interesting, and the ancient Egyptians, they did that too. Not to the monster baby, but to their gods, to the powers that they perceived to be above them. And so did the Greeks, the Egyptians and the Greeks. So you could be taken, it could be taken either way. Thank you, Katsy, appreciate that. No worries, Kip. Could be two things we take from the reason she follows the performer. Is one, they are related, or two, who else do we know that can mimic or transform their appearance to mimic others? The ferryman. Yes, the ferryman. Which is another reason why I lean more towards the Greek mythos take on it, because that was another link that I was able to draw. Because the white tattered dress that Mim is wearing could be a ancient Greek white toga, which all of the ancient Greeks used to wear. It was just like the only form of clothing. You would just wear, like, no matter, like, especially the poor, you would just wear one cloth. There's just one white cloth, and you would hold it together however you could. So her lack of knowledge on electricity and the modernity of like the arcades and the circus and things like that, she was completely perplexed by it because she wasn't from that time. Her look being the white toga, it being held together in the patchwork, the ancient sacrifice and the embracement of death, being symbolic of her connection to her higher power or something she believed to be an escape. The Greek meaning of her name directly correlating with the performer, who is the primary antagonist in the entire situation. And then the ancient Greeks believed strongly in a Grim Reaper of sorts called Charon, or Charon. And his job was to take your soul and guide it to the afterlife. And they used to call Charon the ferryman. Yeah. See? We finally rescued you. Here, I'll put this back on. All right, Alex, it's like super dark because they're like, hey, we found your... we found this really dark artifact and assumed it belongs to you. This ties even more with how the Nowhere itself... the Nowhere is between the life or death, or even death itself. Yeah, exactly. I made a teaser for Little Nightmares, The Lonely Ones. Interesting. That'd be good to see, Harley. This is why Otto wasn't allowed to go to the Nowhere, as he wasn't ready to give up his reality, when he just wanted to get there and hold experiments in there. Potentially. In page 64, it also says that there's nightshade in the pool, which symbolises death. Yes, it does. I forgot about that. Good catch. Well done, Bookworm. A keen, all-seeing eye you have there. W theory. I concentrated on what you said, so thank you so much, Katsy. I really appreciate that. The necropolis reminds me of Pompeii. Yeah, it does me as well. That was the vibe I got. Oh my days, FipsyB2 is in the chat. Gemini, what's up, my brother? Sorry for being late. How are you? I'm doing very, very well, Fipsy. Fipsy, you have actually got to... Well, I think you missed me suffer. I've eaten 2 of these things so far today. we had a little bit of fun earlier on. Just screwing around before I started delving into some really deep and dark theories. I would say you missed the theory, but I actually discussed it yesterday during your live stream while Fipsy and I were during an impromptu collab. Sorry guys, my room just started rattling for a reason then, and I was like, what's going on? Seems like someone's just playing really loud music somewhere. That's all that is. But yeah, FipsyB2 was live last night, and he invited people, his audience, his fans, like me, to play Little Nightmares 3 demo with him on 2-player, and it was awesome. And I thought, you know what? I'm sitting here, I'm not doing anything. I can throw my name in the hat. Could be fun, right? And I only got it, so we ended up playing Little Nightmares 3 together, and it was dope. Fipsy, I think, also intends to do that again tonight, so if any of you guys are interested in playing Little Nightmares 3 demo on 2-player with FipsyB2, he probably, correct me if I'm wrong, Fipsy, but you might also be going live tonight as well, if I recall. And I shared the fundamentals of the theory I just shared with you guys in that stream as well. I gave people like a little teaser. Fipsy, just in case you don't know, I just deep dived the Mim theory. You know, the theory about Mim and ancient Greece and all the rest of it and the ties to the necropolis. I just talked a bit more on that. There's also the fact that it seems every character had to die to get into the nowhere, like Noon and her tumor. Yeah, exactly, Bookworm, exactly. That was another tie I was thinking of with the Sounds of Nightmares, right? I also think that the Descent to Nowhere could offer us some more insight into that, given that it's implied by the trailer that the detective, when seeking to get into the nowhere, jumps off a bridge. Right? Planet Jupiter has made a great breakdown of the book. He had a theory that Mim might have become the resident, probably the perfect lady from episode 6 of Sounds of Night. Maybe. Marto, I haven't actually seen Planet Jupiter's breakdown, but I do like Jupiter's stuff. I think he's a very, very good content creator, and he makes some really, really cool Little Nightmares content, and he's got an amazing voice. An excellent voice. I think he's actually a voice actor as well, like outside of YouTube. I think Drew is a voice actor. Very, very talented individual, and his thumbnails are fire. What's up, Cluster? How you doing? Welcome. Gaius, Feast being from the Great Depression is now my headcanon, and you could be absolutely right. You could be absolutely right, Gaius, because obviously he's starving, so it's like, oh, well, he must come from a time where people were always hungry. And when were people always hungry? When they couldn't afford food. During the Great Depression, when electricity was still apparent to him, where he was still aware of what a circus was and what the performer was all about and the tents and the rides and everything, so he's still aware of what the theme park carnival kind of aesthetic is all about. He understands that way more than Mim does, but he's starving to death, and it's like, okay, why? Where's he from? Or when is he from, more importantly? And I think the Great Depression is a very, very good takeout from that. I would agree with you, in fact, Gaius. That would be my guess as well. So it is now also my headcanon for Feast as well, until further evidence reveals itself, should it ever. Does anyone still think that the Mirror Man is going to be the main antagonist for Little Nightmares 3, or at least play a big role in the game? I think he might be featured, but this is the thing. I think that there's so many implications behind the Mirror Man being the primary antagonist of Little Nightmares 3 that it almost feels too easy, right? Like, it almost feels like they're spoon-feeding us it. But I don't know if that's just because I read the comics and so did a lot of you. So a lot of us as super fans will already know who the Mirror Man is. So it's going to be, like, not too surprising if the Mirror Man ends up being this primary enemy. But bear in mind, Little Nightmares, especially now as a franchise, has millions upon millions more fans than it did back in 2017 when those comics came out. So a lot of those guys, a lot of these new fans and new players and people that are being introduced to the game, they won't know who the Mirror Man is. They might not have read the comics or got their hands on them or done any research on it. They might be completely oblivious. We here, all, and I know there's a lot of us, but we, the veteran fans of the franchise, we know the Mirror Man. We won't be shocked or surprised if he makes an appearance. But the Mirror Man could still be a new and enticing and inventive enemy to the millions upon millions of new fans that Little Nightmares as a franchise has garnered over the last 8 years. So he could very well be. And I feel like it's unfair of us as veterans who already know the Nowhere and know Little Nightmares better than any of the new fans do, to just say, oh, well, that's really boring and obvious. Because while it might be to us, it might not be to the majority. Like 90% of people that play this game might not know who the Mirror Man is. I know that he's a popular character in the franchise, and it can be argued that, oh, duh, everyone knows who the Mirror Man is. But does it lessen his impact on the game and the direction of the franchise moving forwards? Or is it a character that we're actually really excited to see? Personally, the Mirror Man was not my favourite resident in the comics. The Ferryman was. I loved the Ferryman. There's the Ferryman, then the North Wind, and then the Mirror Man. I like all of them very, very much, but I found that the Mirror Man just seemed the most sporadic and seemed to have the least lore surrounding him and the least ties. The reason I reference him so much now is because now we have so much more to dig from. Back then, when I first read the comic, we only had Little Nightmares 1. So I was like, you know, what's the only thing I could really link it to was the maw, and the fact that all of the mirrors on the maw are broken, apart from one that the lady looks into, which she then shatters. Well, she looks into two. There's 2 full mirrors that she looks into, one of them of her own accord, which she destroys in front of the runaway kid, and the other which Six uses to destroy her. So, yeah, really interesting, really strange. It was really fun seeing Jem suffer. Bookworm is really happy to see me suffer now. Bookworm's turned on me in the last stream. Talking about Greek mythology, when someone looks into Medusa's eyes, they turn to stone. Psychonaut is absolutely right, and another reference that's very, very clear that I overlooked. I didn't overlook it in the theory. I did write about this, but Psychonaut is right to point out that if the necropolis itself ties into Greek mythology, then obviously all of the dwellers in the necropolis being frozen in stone Pompeii style, all wearing what look like ancient Grecian togas, they could be from Mim's time. In fact, everything about the necropolis could be Mim. Not Mim the character. I'm not saying she evolves into one of the entities of the Nowhere. She could. She absolutely could. But I'm saying that the necropolis is quite likely to be given its image by her. It'll pull from her memories and her subconscious, and it'll build itself to represent ancient Greece in a way that she remembers, but distort it in a way that, like, because she'll remember it as a terrible place where people suffer and people are hungry and people hang a lot, because they do, don't they? In the necropolis, there's thousands of bodies hanging everywhere in the necropolis. So it seems like something that, if it's taken from her subconscious, then hanging in ancient Greece could be a very, very common thing. And it was back then also. It was a very common way to go. A very common way to sacrifice, a very common way to commit suicide, or to execute, to execute people. Seems to be big on Greek or Egyptian technology. Even in mythology in olden times, when people were buried, they would put a penny on their eyes so they could pay the ferryman. Exactly, yeah. You put Dos Equis over your eyes to pay the ferryman. That's what they would do. When the ancient Greeks would bury their dead, they would bury them with golden coins over their eyes. And that was supposed to be a bribe for the ferryman, because when you appear in the afterlife, the ferryman can ferry you across the river Styx. If you haven't got any money to pay him, you have to swim. And the river Styx that you'd have to swim through without the help of the ferryman is full of the souls of the damned, and they would just pull you to hell. So you need to be buried with money to pay the ferryman.
Fipsy, I'm going live tonight. Anyone with interest in playing the demo with me, be free to put your name in my chat. Just make sure that you have the PC as well as Steam. Yes, absolutely. Fipsy-B2 has left an open invitation. Now, bear in mind that Fipsy will be limited to how much time he can stream for, so not everybody who applies will get to play the game with him. I was very fortunate last night, but there is, if there's a number of us that go into the stream, what he'll do is he'll likely put it on like a wheel, so you can like, you know, like drawing straws, all right, pulling a number out of a hat. It'll be like a raffle. So if you want to, he might play it with more than one person. He did yesterday. He played with myself and he played with Cluster, who is also in the chat. But if a lot of you guys show up and want to play, make sure that you have Steam. Make sure that you're comfortable sharing your details with Fipsy privately. Preferably through something like Discord, so that he can add you on Steam and then he can send you an invitation to play. And of course, be sure to make your voices heard in his chat as well. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I did it yesterday. It was great. We had a good laugh. Hey, my chat completely paused. Is it just me or did everyone genuinely shout? Yeah, I think everybody went quiet just for a bit because I was talking consecutively without breathing. That, and I did say, everybody listen to my theory, and you did very kindly, and I appreciate that very much. I found a better game than Little Nightmares. It's called I'm in Love with Your Dead Grandmother, and it's on the PS Store. Alright, you know what? Everybody cancel your pre-orders. Nobody needs Little Nightmares anymore. We're all going to go play I'm in Love with Your Dead Grandmother. Oh, don't even worry, Bookworm. In fact, Bookworm, if you're locked in drawing, maintain your concentration. Stay concentrating. You should. I think it'd be fun to see what you create. Current Worm. I've heard many people think that Otto is the Mirror Man. What does everyone think about this? I'm not too sure about it. Yeah, that's curious actually. Everybody that heard me say that and everyone that's read Current Worm's comment just there, feel free to answer, because there are a lot of people talking about it. Guy says, what if the girl in the painting in the ladies' quarters is Mim? Ooh, Gaius. Oh, Gaius. That's very interesting indeed. That is very interesting indeed. Because her appearance kind of represents Mim. At least the headcanon image I have for Mim. In fact, the image I used for the thumbnail of this was an image that I created of Mim with the help of my fantastic artist, Propimal. But yeah, potentially. Now, I think that's very good. Now that I'm thinking on it, because it's difficult, because you have to separate your headcanon from game development, actual real-life canon. And game development, actual real-life canon kind of sucks, because I could literally just turn around and say, well, it's obviously not Mim, it's the Flashlight Girl, because it is. They literally use the character model for the Flashlight Girl, and the character model in the painting are the exact same one. But from a game development standpoint, you could argue that that character is literally just a way of saving assets or bandwidth, and just being like, well, we can't create, there's obviously hundreds of children on the mall, but they don't use hundreds of models for the children on the mall. They just use hundreds of renditions of the runaway kid and then obscure them in the background or under shadows, things like that. So from a real life standpoint, it's like, well, obviously it's not. But from a in-game canon perspective, it could absolutely be, because the description of her hair, her appearance, and her dress sense, they kind of add up. The only thing that doesn't is the noose around the neck. But it could be. Oh. Caleb, in my opinion, I just want to see the Mirror Man or any of the monsters that we see in the comic, like the Ferryman, make an in-game appearance so that they can really get a chance to shine and be exposed to new players at the beginning of the franchise. I agree, Caleb. Caleb Hibbert is absolutely correct. I cannot wait to see I think all of the characters in that game, particularly in that comic, particularly the residents, deserve some screen time. The Ferryman, especially as like intrinsically linked with the franchise as he's become, he is like the staple resident at the moment. He's like arguably the most recognizable resident across all forms of media. It used to be that like the janitor was the most like most well recognized character, and then I think the teacher was like a close second, and now they're all pretty like recognizable as the same way Six is. You know, if you show them a picture of like if you were to take some pictures out into the street and approach the members of the general public, they're a lot more likely to recognize Six than they are to recognize many of the other characters in the franchise. So if you were to take a character like the janitor, for instance, he is a very, very recognizable Little Nightmares resident. But if you were to show them an image of the North Wind, they probably couldn't guess where it was from unless they'd read the comic, obviously. You know, they wouldn't really know, because he doesn't have that kind of impact, because he's never been given that much attention. What's up, Sonic? How you doing? 100% snow level. Hell. In my restless dreams, I see that place, the nowhere they promised will take us there someday, and they will. Well, I'm alone home now, waiting for Little Nightmares 3. So am I. I am also home alone, waiting for Little Nightmares 3. What's up, Panther? How you doing? Sorry I'm late. Not really. Don't. Yeah, don't be. You don't need to be. I don't see Nora up. Yeah, Alex. That was my point as well. So while there is a lot of like imagery that could be associated with Mim, it's not likely, because she's missing the rope, and I think the rope is like a staple part of her design. I do not believe Otto is the Mirror Man. I think people only connected both of them because they were both relevant due to Little Nightmares 3 and The Sounds of Nightmares. Yeah, potentially. Bookworm. Yeah, absolutely. But I do think Otto is more involved, or at least the copy is more involved in Little Nightmares 3 than we suspect. Purely because of the end sequence to the Little Nightmares 3 demo we got, where Law wakes up without his mask and without his bandage in a room that is presumably in the copy, where Ruth was, Noon, but Ruth, was undergoing the procedures set upon her by Otto, which also makes me think that Law might be Ethan. And I think that Law's story will be more elaborated on in season 2 of The Sounds of Nightmares, because they are making a season 2 of The Sounds of Nightmares, and in the last episode, Otto mentions another patient, a young boy with somnambulism, sleepwalking, and although he doesn't describe this child, Lo is the only other person that we've seen within an area that resembles the copy, which is the psychiatric institute where Noon was. So if Lo was in the copy and Noon was in the copy, then we can assume, and we shouldn't, but we could make a fairly substantiated speculation that Lo is Ethan, but he loses his memory, because the visitors in the nowhere don't remember their own names. They give themselves names based on an instinct that they find themselves having, like, basically upon waking up in the nowhere. Like Ruse is described in the early one, it just seems to feel right to her. She doesn't remember her real name, she just calls herself Ruse. And Feast and Mim aren't their real names either. They're pulling from fractured memories that they can't really recall. But I assume that they pull something from their... Well, it's, in fact, I assumed it before, but it's confirmed now, that they pull something from the life that they remember. You know, like when you wake from a dream, and you can remember fragments of it, but it doesn't quite make sense? So you're just like, oh, well, what was that? Well, it could be that Lo is Ethan, and Ethan is subject to experiments under Otto's guidance. Otto hypnotizes him, and he's trying to get him to sink deeper into the nowhere, and he's commanding him to go low. He's hypnotizing him, and when if any of you have been hypnotized, or if any of you remember The Sounds of Nightmares, you'll remember the repetition where he's saying breathe, breathe, sink. You know, like he's talking about sinking deeper and descending and going lower and lower, low, low, low. And if Lo wakes up in the nowhere, his last recalled memory could be the word Lo. So it's like, someone was saying Lo to me. Lo, Lo, that must be my name. Because he doesn't know his name's Ethan, he's forgotten his name's Ethan. So he just knows it's Lo. So when someone says, what's your name? What's the last thing you remember? He says, Law. Because in, again, in the old comics, in the 2017 comics, the bread boy asks Six the very same thing. What's the last thing you remember? And Six doesn't tell him. She doesn't respond. And the bread boy says, if you don't tell us, you're sure to forget altogether. So they're trying to like inspire them to pull like their most recent memory, like the last thing that they can recall. So they'll take like the most vivid thing that they can remember, which in this case would be Law being told to sink low, because that's how you access the nowhere, and that's what Otto would want him to do. And the only person that we know that Otto would have access to is a little boy called Ethan, and Law seems to appear in the copy at the end of the Little Nightmares 3 demo. So we can sort of tie those in together with like indirect links, but make a fairly well substantiated conclusion that Law is Ethan. But we could be completely wrong. Could be completely wrong. And as could anyone that agrees with me. I'm so disappointed I won't be able to play it on release day, as I'll be going away to Turkey with Mrs. Tibbs, but I'll be streaming as soon as I'm home. I'm looking forward to it, Mr. Tibbs, because I'm going to make you suffer. Because I remember what you did to me at the beginning of this stream.
Son of a bitch!
My favourite horror character is the Hunter. He's so creepy. Yeah, the Hunter is really creepy. It's really weird. Strange character, dangerous character. Let me see, what else do we have to say? Can't wait for Reanimal as well. Yeah, I heard that there's a demo of Reanimal available now that I didn't look into. I've been super tied up recently because I'm supposed to be moving house and there's a lot of stress, and it's like I'm not going to go into it because it'll just wind me up. But yeah, I haven't had a chance to actually sit and play anything apart from playing the demo for like an hour with 50B2 last night. Otherwise, I haven't really had time to sit and play or do pretty much any research on Reanimal at all. But it's not to say I'm not excited about it, because I am. I'm stoked for Reanimal. Alright guys, I'll tell you what. Hey, what's up Nevada? How are you doing? Runaway Cobra, hi, I had a little nightmare, but no way I'm missing this stream. It's all good, I'm glad you could make it, Cobra. Thank you for stopping in and saying hello. The loreware. Cool Games knows what it's about. The loreware. There's a Reanimal demo. Don't quote me on that, Panther. I'm just saying that it's, there is, I thought I heard that there was one. I might be mistaken, but I could have sworn that I seen that one was either being released or was on the horizon. I'm not entirely sure. Guys, forgive me. I'm just going to take a very quick break. Then when I come back, I want to talk a little bit more about some more obscure and like silly theories that I want to get to before I close out this stream. So bear with me for a little bit. We've been going for about an hour and a half now, so I'll probably stick around for another like half an hour, maybe 45 minutes if we get talking. And yeah, and don't forget, tonight, RJ, my friend RJ from over at Casual Hardcore Gamers, is going to be live streaming an attempt at the Hard to the Core challenge on Little Nightmares 1, and he's also responsible for the upcoming Platinum run that me and him have been working on together. So I'm going to be a part of that. That's why I'm helping to build hype for the video, because I hope you guys are excited for it, because I am. I really want to see him do it, because he intends to conquer all 3 games and get all 3 trophies and walk us through how to do it exactly. So not only will we get to see him suffer today, but you can also, if you decide that you enjoy his content and you like him and you like his face and you like his voice, he's also really good looking and really handsome and really strong, he's buff. But yeah, he's also a wicked gamer, and he's going to play Little Nightmares 1, 2 and 3 in their entirety. He's going to get all of the trophies and he's going to publish it as a full platinum walkthrough video for your entertainment and most importantly for mine. So we're going to check him out at the end of the stream, and I'm going to see if I can raid him if he's live by then. However, for the moment, I'm going to take a very short break and I will be back in just a moment. Please bear with me. I'll be right back. Alright, thank you for waiting, guys. I really appreciate that. Let me get back into chat real quick. The last thing that Six remembers is dipping on mono. Damn it. Oh no. I'm also Sonic. Big fan of. Yeah, I'm a huge Sonic the Hedgehog fan. In fact, Sonic the Hedgehog and I, we share a birthday. I've been a huge Sonic fan for a long time. I really, really like Sonic the Hedgehog. Gemini, do you think we'll see the Ferryman at the end and the Wax Bellman in Little Nightmares 3? I do not think we'll see Bellman. I don't think we'll see the Wax Bellman because I feel like he was a cancelled character that I feel has more place on the Maw than anywhere else. They might find a way to tie him in. I know there are outfits of the Wax Bellman already in Little Nightmares 3 demo, which is awesome, and I was super excited to see. But I think they've put that in as a cameo reference, the same way they put a Dark Six outfit in, because we're not going to get to see Six in this game either, but they wanted to pay homage to a legendary character, much like the Wax Bellman is. That could also be argued because there is a Ferryman outfit as well. There is a Ferryman outfit in the game available if you pre-order the game. So you'll get a Ferryman outfit as well as a Wax Bellman outfit. So it could be argued by my previous logic that we will not get to see the Ferryman in the game. But I really, really hope we do. Because I feel like he's just too intricately linked with the Nowhere to justify not giving him something. I think there will be some kind of like cameo or there will be some reference to him somewhere along the line, maybe even in the DLC, because one of the DLCs, I think one of the DLCs is the backstage, and it's going to take place with in this kind of area, and we're going to see some more ties to the book The Lonely Ones. But the other part is a more water-based area that looks like docks or a harbour or a beach side of some kind, like a quay, sorry. So I don't know exactly if the Ferryman's going to be in it. I think if he's going to make an appearance at all, it's going to be in the DLC, but I don't think he'll be in the actual game itself when it comes out, sadly. But I really, really like him too, and I really want to be wrong about that. What's up, Herbs? How you doing? Welcome to the chat. I'm glad you can make it. How are you today? Hope you're doing alright. I am doing very, very well indeed. Just ordered a Mackie D's. Mackie D's and Gemini stream. Is there a better combination? They could be. There could be. It could be a KFC. Gemini, any thoughts or theories towards if we will kill any of the bosses in Little Nightmares 3? If so, which ones and how? I think we will kill one of them. I think that we are going to kill the supervisor, if any. Okay. Maybe. Okay, I'll finish that thought first. I think that we will kill the supervisor because some of the... and again, I'm really sorry if this spoils the game. That's not my intention. I'm a theorist. I'd like to be right about the things that I spout. Some of it's absolute nonsense and I'm just trying to pull from straws and things like that. But I have seen some footage... and I alluded to this a really long time ago in one of my first ever theory videos, so if you guys have been a fan of me for a long time, you'll obviously already know what I'm about to say. But I did find more, not conclusive evidence, but just more, more substantiated evidence to support the fact that we probably will kill the supervisor, because I watched the Nintendo Switch adverts for the release of Little Nightmares 3, so when they were promoting the release of Little Nightmares 3 on the Nintendo Switch in Japan, I watched the Japanese adverts in Japanese, and they were great. But they contained some footage and some screenshots that we had not seen, or at least I had not seen before. And one of them is the supervisor breaking into a room as Lo and Alone are crawling into what looks like a huge hydraulic press. A press which is used in candy factories, and I've seen this done in real life. I've literally seen how they make lollipops. When I was doing the candy factory theory, that because I made the Candyland theory, that was my first ever theory video, was predicting it was going to be a candy factory before we knew what the factory was. So I went out and I did some research. I went to an actual candy factory and I got to see these large hydraulic presses in. I remember thinking, God, what would that do to a person? And we see Lo and Alone climbing into one whilst being pursued. by the supervisor. So I think what might happen is we could potentially lure her into this huge hydraulic press, and then when we get out at the other side, we're going to have to do something that involves using both of their tools, both Law's bow and arrow and Alon's wrench, to activate the mechanism to control this system, to have it crush the supervisor and essentially turn her into a giant disgusting lollipop of some description. I kind of hope that's what happens. So yes, I think that's how the supervisor will go, potentially. I think we might also maybe not kill, but definitely do damage to the kin and mini-kin. Because the mini-kin puppet is a freaking nightmare, and it breaks the dynamics of the game, because this is both a big and small resident. So it's like having the teacher and the bullies chase you at the same time. Or more like the teacher and the hands chase you at the same time. You're not safe anywhere. As is evident by the Carnival gameplay trailer that came out a couple of months ago, where you get to see the kin and the mini-kin hunting for Lo and Alone, and also executing a gnome, like quite hideously. So we're not safe anywhere, and it breaks the dynamic of the game because you can't go anywhere. What it does appear that the kin himself is useless without the doll. He's useless without the minikin. I think that is like the living, breathing heart and soul of him, and that's why he needs it to survive. They're codependent. They need each other. So I think that the minikin is kind of weak on its own. It's wicked fast, but I think it's kind of weak without him. You know, it doesn't have as much stature. It's just like any other one of the puppets. It's just really, really quick. But you'll notice that whenever the kin, the man in the purple suit, is without his puppet, he's limp. He's just like, yeah, we notice him sleeping in a chair, and when the puppet jumps off, he doesn't get up and follow it, he's just stuck in the chair, just like, you know, paralysed Stephen Hawking style. And that is also the same in The Sounds of Nightmares, when Noon meets the kin and the minikin, sitting next to her, watching Rusty and the others perform in the big top. And then when Rusty is being pursued up the tightrope by the minikin, the man in the purple suit is still sitting next to Noon, but he's limp and he's lifeless, and he's just like he's kind of like hopeless without it. So I think we might eventually get to a point where we're able to escape from the kin. So he sicks his little dog on us, and he sets the minikin after us, and then we are able to do away with the minikin one way or another. I don't really know how. I'm hoping beyond hope that it chases us. Like, we find a way to escape from the carnival by way of so these guys say that you can get off it by a hot air balloon, and that hot air balloon is missing. Oh my days, I think I know something. Wait, do I know something? Roll with me. In this, it is alluded to that Law's mask is present in the carnival. It's there. They find Law's mask. We know Law goes to the carnival with Alone. In this book, the characters in it start heading towards a hot air balloon. That hot air balloon is supposed to be like their escape. They're going to use it to escape because the carnival is on a floating ship. It's flying in the sky in the middle of a storm. They have to get off. So they're like, okay, we've got to get down somehow. How do we manage that? Oh, we're getting a hot air balloon. And they start heading towards it. But they miss the ride. They miss the ride and they don't get to use the hot air balloon because by the time they get there, it's gone. Where did it go? And why did we see Law's mask on the carnival in the backstage? Could it be, perhaps, potentially, and again, I'm just throwing this out there, but what if the kin and the minikin chase us to that very hot air balloon, and the minikin is set upon us, and it's like, you know, he's like, well, I can't get up there, you go get him. So the kin just drops, like limp, without his dummy. But we take off as Lo and Alone in the hot air balloon, and then one of us, either Lo snipes him, Alone bashes him and knocks the minikin, off the hot air balloon as it's trying to climb up and get to them, and he falls off the ship to his doom. And we get to do away with the horrible creature. That would be good. I think that'd be dope. Because then you've essentially defeated them both, in a way. I don't know, it's very curious. What do you guys think of that? Do you think there's any potential in that? Because I think that there's... because also we do get to see that there is hot air balloons in the carnival, in the DLC. In the artwork that was rendered of Law reaching into a mirror to somebody, but he's like falling out of it, and then it shows you the two separate areas. There's the back rooms, not the back rooms, the backstage, and there's the docks, the two separate areas, which are presumably the two parts of the DLC. Excuse me, where our characters will separate. But in the background of that, you can see a hot air balloon in the distance, which means that there is a good chance Lo and Alone escaped from the carnival using the hot air balloon. Whether they dispose of the minikin during that process, I don't know. I hope so. But if that's the case, they get rid of the minikin, he falls to his doom, the hot air balloon descends, and it ends up somewhere. But we don't know where, but it's in one of the DLC areas. And then it expands from there. Maybe. Nevada, Gemini, I have a theory about Alone if Alone and the girl with the bloody nose from the comic are the same person. They could be, but I don't think they are. I think that Alone is well established as her own character. I don't think she has any ties to any previous characters that we've met in the Nowhere, but she does look very similar as far as her stature and her general aesthetic goes. But the reason I don't think that she's directly linked is because I was supplied with some evidence recently that characters in the Nowhere can share very similar designs. You guys might be aware of the Little Nightmares tabletop role-playing game that was live streamed recently on Bandai Namco Europe, and they play a game called Sickly Sweet, and it takes place within the candy factory, where you take control of two characters, one called PJ and the other called Needle. The character called Needle looks a lot like Alone, as in has big orange bushy hair and wears a mask and a green jumpsuit and carries a needle rather than a wrench. But Needle is a boy, and he's not alone. It's established in the description of that video that these characters are nothing to do with the characters we meet in Little Nightmares 3, so there are no spoilers, so you can freely watch Little Nightmares Sickly Sweet tabletop role-playing game experience without spoiling Little Nightmares 3. But everyone who's seen that initial picture, that initial cover art for the Sickly Sweet advert, assumed that was Alone, because it looked so very similar, but they're not the same character. They were completely different characters. So Spoon Girl, even though she also has like wiry orange hair and freckles, just like Alone, I don't think they're the same character. I think they just share some cosmetics. And I think the more characters get introduced, the more visitors we meet in the Nowhere, the more likely we are to see recurring themes. Like similarities between Mono and the Runaway Kid, for instance. One could easily mistake one of them for each other without the mask in certain circumstances, if you know what I mean. Minikin, I just flattened it with my shoe here. Blaze Lunkin, I imagine we're going to end up seeing Six through the mirrors, since she has the powers of the lady. I hope that's true. I actually hope that there are some ties to Six and the Maw. In a silly theory that I'm going to cover in a minute, it might turn out that it's not so silly. I might be right on the money, but it was a thought that came to me during FipsyB2's live stream yesterday while I was just having some fun. I'll expand on that in a little bit. Gem, I don't think that's the case, because the new footage we can see the kin without the minikin, and he can still walk, but to be fair, they are in close proximity, so I don't know. Then Edward, I might be mistaken then. If he can walk quite comfortably without the minikin, then perhaps I am entirely mistaken. Maybe he is perfectly capable of functioning without the minikin. I think what it might be is less so that he's limp And again, I know I just said that, so so scrap what I just said because I'm using your evidence to further substantiate this. I don't think he stays limp because he's incapable of moving without the minikin. I think without the minikin, he's blind, like Roger. I don't think. Well, he doesn't. He doesn't have eyes. Noon says he doesn't have eyes. So I think he's effectively blind without the minikin. I think it's his eyes. So, like, you know, when he's writing at his desk when he's got Law trapped in the box. Or I can't remember which one it is. He's got Law trapped in a box, suspended from the ceiling, and then Alone is separate to him outside of the suspended cage. And he's writing something. He's writing a letter, but he's writing with the pen, so he's holding it, but the minikin is there looking, right? But then the minikin gets distracted, and when it goes, he goes because he can't see without it. So yeah, I think you're right. He can walk without it, but I think he's like essentially disabled without it. So I think by doing away with the minikin, I don't think he's got as much chance of chasing us with his limp and sporadic jerky movements as the very spry and nimble minikin does. So I think if I'm right that we do escape from the carnival via a hot air balloon, as is described in this, which they missed, and I've got a feeling that hot air balloon went somewhere. It could just be that it's delivering whatever it's read to deliver in there, but I think it was taken by other visitors, and I think it's no coincidence that Law's mask was featured in this book. I think Low and Alone take that hot air balloon, and I think that the kin or the minikin would chase us. The kin can't follow us, but the minikin can, and then we get rid of the minikin can. The kin can't follow us, but the minikin can. Oh god, no. Gemini's back in the building dropping bars. But yeah, so that's what I think would happen. He sicks it on us, and then he's just blind. So he's just stuck there, he's stuck on the carnival ship, and he's blind. So if we do destroy the minikin and we manage to escape, if he can survive without it, he'll have to replace it somehow. And maybe this has happened before, because we see several pictures in the man in the purple suit's quarters, right? But they're all of puppets. And they all seem to represent, and they're blurred, they're sort of obscured in the background, and I haven't got a chance to have a really good look at them yet. But when we see that room with all the pictures on the wall and all the paintings, they're all of the puppet. But we don't know it's the same puppet. We don't know that he doesn't replace this puppet every now and again. We don't know that he doesn't essentially create a new minikin out of all the other puppets, because there's several puppets. There's hundreds of puppets potentially. They run the carnival, and they're all sentient and sapient. They move around of their own accord, right? Like a hive mind kind of thing. But what's to say that one of them doesn't get promoted because he needs a set of eyes, but he can't see without them. So he needs a puppet on his hand to act as his eyes and to meld with him so that two become one. Because two flows from one, and as one become... I think I might have just thought of another tie to the Sounds of Nightmares, but anyway, but you get my meaning anyways. Yeah, you get the point. So I agree with you. I think you're right. He's not completely dysfunctional without the minikin, but I think if we were to destroy the minikin or escape from it or get rid of it in one way or another, or separate him from it, he is effectively blind without it. That's what I think. So the carnival is where Law obtains his mask, or is it where it leaves it behind? Exactly, KR. That is the question, because we know that it's there. We know it's on the carnival, but we don't know if this takes place before or after Law and Alone get there. And we don't know, I at least don't know where the game starts. If the game starts, we see Law without his mask in game, but only in the copy. We don't know where he gets it necessarily. So, it's implied that he either gets it in the carnival, and I think that could be linear, that would work logically. If my theory that I've just spouted about for the past 10 minutes is right, Law and Alone show up at the carnival, find Law's mask, then escape from the carnival using the hot air balloon that Ruse and friends missed, and off they go and disappear. I also think that it's curious that none of these characters, despite their entire adventure taking place in the carnival, never ever once see the man in the purple suit. They don't meet him. So it could also be taken from that he's already been disposed of. Law and Alone have already taken care of him. But I don't know. Again, there's nothing to say that I'm right. There's nothing to say that I'm wrong. It's all just speculation, and that's what we're here for. Maybe the bird mask is a prop and they have more. Yeah, they could very well have more. I suspected that they had more because something that I did see a long time ago, and it might have just been my eyes playing tricks on me, but the first time we ever got to see the Necropolis demo, when you see Low and Alone arrive in the Necropolis through the mirror, in the first gameplay demo, Low and Alone bursts through the mirror, but if you pause it before that mirror breaks, it looks like there are shelves in the background, and on one of those shelves it looks like there is a mask, like a what are they called, like a pantomime mask, like a masquerade ball mask on the shelves. So it could very well be that there is a room full of these masks. In fact, we know there is, because the performer is in that's the performer's room, and it's full of mirrors. It's full of mirrors and it's full of props, and one of those props is in fact Low's mask. So that could be where our heroes were coming from in that particular scenario, but we don't know, because we've seen them both enter the Necropolis in two different ways now. We've seen them do it through the mirror, and we've seen them do it by waking up on a ship. So, like, what's the time frame? And we don't know, but we'll find out. We'll find out in 6 days. We will know. Needle looks like Syndrome from The Incredibles. Kip, yeah, Needle absolutely does. Needle is Alone's long-lost brother. He absolutely could be. He could be, because of there are some very similar, distinct characteristics that would link them together. Talking about hot air balloons, Jem, what if the carnival is the same place that the girl from Very Little Nightmares is from, as she arrives to the nest by hot air balloon, you know? Yes, absolutely she does. She does, and that could very well be where, and I did think of that earlier on. Funnily enough, it was literally this afternoon when I thought of that, and I was trying to think, if she descending from the carnival, but she crashes into the nest, but she was escaping via hot air balloon, then that does say that perhaps the girl in the yellow raincoat, whoever she might be, was in the carnival at one point or another. And who is she? Very curious indeed. But yeah, absolutely, Katsy, you're dead right. That could be right. Red Bull shoe wings. If the kids can escape the nowhere by flying, why don't they just drink a Red Bull? Yeah, I mean, it does work. Gemini, where can you get a new Little Nightmares book? This one, The Lonely Ones, I bought on Amazon. And I also wrote to E.C. Myers. I wrote to E.C. Myers and I said, please give me one of these. I can't get, because I pre-ordered. This is what really upset me about this book. Nothing to do with the book itself. The book is amazing. The author is amazing. It's wonderful. You should purchase it. What bothered me is the delivery system here in the UK. This book was late in the UK. Like, we got it, it wasn't even released in the United Kingdom until a couple of days after it was already published. It was available to the public. A lot of people had read it and published reviews before I even got my copy. So I was furious anyway. But what upset me even more is the fact that I pre-ordered this in 2024. I pre-ordered this years ago, a year ago, because I knew it was coming out and it was available to pre-order, and I wanted to make sure I got a copy, so I pre-ordered it and I kept double checking on it and I made sure I knew when it was coming and blah blah blah. And when the day came for me to receive it, it said, your order has been processed, thank you for your money, it should be with you within 6 to 8 working days or whatever. And I waited and I waited and I waited. I thought, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. I don't like being that impatient guy that immediately writes or calls a company and be's a Karen and I'd like to complain because you said this. And I was like, I know there are difficulties when it comes to giving somebody something that quick, especially when it's a rare item. But I kept waiting, and eventually I wrote to them and I said, look, I'm really sorry to be a bother, but I really want this book and I really need it, and I put in an order. I pre-ordered this thing the better part of a year ago, and it hasn't showed up. I just wanted to know if there's any movement. Where is it? And they said, oh yeah, it's out of stock. I was, what do you mean it's out of stock? When were you going to tell me? And I was like, well, we didn't know. And I was like, that's no good to me, is it? And I didn't get upset with the staff. It's not their fault. None of them were at fault with it. It's just, but it really bothered me because then I had to seek it out. And it was sold out in a lot of places because it's exceedingly popular, which is why I wrote to Mr. Myers himself and said, will you send me one? Because I live in the UK and I went to our bookstore, Waterstones, which is, they can basically get any book from anywhere. They'll just order you it. They always say that. If you go in and ask the ladies at the desk, there's always some wonderful ladies at the desk that are always more than happy to help me when I go in looking for books. and I go in and I'll ask them, because rather than combing through thousands upon thousands of books by thousands upon thousands of authors, I'll just go to the desk and say, do you have Little Nightmares, The Lonely Ones by E.C. Myers? And they'll be like, oh, let me just check. And I'll check, and 5 minutes later they'll either bring it out or they'll have it ordered for you. They couldn't order this thing. It was just impossible to get hold of. It was, for some reason, it was just exceedingly difficult to get hold of one. Anyway, that's my rant over. You can get this. You can get it on Amazon. Just order it on Amazon and just get it delivered however you want. It shouldn't be a problem now. It was just a major problem for me. Maybe I made it a bigger deal than it should have been. But yeah, you can get it on Amazon, and you can get it in other places. And I've also been informed earlier on that you can now get the ebook version of it as well. The ebook version for Kindle and so on, and the audiobook version that is narrated by Annalise Scott, I think. Idiotic Bookworm, please let me know if I'm wrong there on that name. I keep misquoting Annalise Scott's name. What if in Little Nightmares 3 we only destroy the Minikin and he becomes blind and Ooh. Gaius, that's another... Gaius is cooking today, right? You've got some really interesting takes, Gaius. You should expand on these a little bit more. Edward says Gem Lo might lose the mask when he's ambushed by the Minikin, and Alone saves him by Wax King. by whacking the Minikin with her wrench. Probably not going to happen. I would love to see it. I would love to see Alone just... Because the Minikin's a horrible creature. Like, those of you that have seen the gameplay footage of the carnival area where the man in the purple suit sicks his little demon onto the gnome, the sounds that come out of this thing make me want to burn it. Like, you should kill it with fire. This thing is hideous and horrible and really, really frightening. And again, like I say, it changes a lot of the dynamics of the game. So, yeah. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. No worries, Alex. Thank you for joining us. I really appreciate you adding to the stream today. Thank you for being here, bro. Okay, I'm just going to skip a couple. Like, forgive me, chat. I'm going to be, like, really rude here and skip a couple just because I also need to check on something, because I've just realised the time. We've been going for over 2 hours now, and I did promise that I would raid my friend RJ, who is doing the Little Nightmares Hard to the Core challenge, and I really don't want to miss it, because I'm going to be there in chat, because I want to go in there and give him a hard time. I just want to make sure he's not already live, and I've just completely missed it, because if he's sitting there playing it now, and I don't get to see it, I'm going to be furious. No, he's not currently live, but that's okay. It's okay. I'm going to just grab his channel. There we go. Has he scheduled the live yet? Not yet. It still might not be for a little while, because, like I say, this guy lives in the United States, and the time difference between here and there is massive, but he did say to me that he would be going live after my stream. He might even be in the chat, if I'm honest. Like, it could very well be that he's in here right now. RJ, if you're around, please make your voice heard, my brother, because I intend to bring all of these guys, or at least those of these guys that are willing to come and support a good buddy of mine, and those that are interested in watching you do the Hard to the Core challenge, across with me. I'll just open Discord. This is a rarity. God, Gemini's opening Discord. Red alert, red alert. I'm just going to fire him a quick question and see if he's live at any point soon. There we go. Sorry, I've lost chat also. I'm not ignoring you guys, I promise. Okay, let me get back to reading some of these. Still hoping we will see a yellow raincoat and a costume trunk in the carnival. Oh, I hope we do. Yeah, I really hope we do. I hope we see some kind of reference to it so that I can tie it in, because there'll be so many theories behind that. There is another Little Nightmares book coming called Something to Nowhere. Journey Through Nowhere. But I don't think it's a novel like this one. This one is a novel and a story. I think the new book is coming out after Little Nightmares 3 releases, and I think it's more like a guide, like a walkthrough. I've no doubt that there will be some lore involved in it, and there will be some like hidden intricacies buried within the pages that theorists like myself and Jordan Fipsy are going to have to like comb through and really dig into, and a lot of you veteran fans will as well, and we'll be able to spot stuff that the average person wouldn't necessarily because of our all-seeing eyes. But that, I believe, is not a story as much as it is a guide to the Little Nightmares universe and to the games in general. I think it's more an emphasis on the games, how to play them, what to do, and a little bit of the lore surrounding it as well. I hope there's a lot more to them. I'm going to be buying it anyway, whatever the case. But yeah, we'll see. Yeah, thank you, Bookworm. It is Annalise Scott. Yeah. Rude. Faceless Art and Skills, how's it going? It's great to see you. I just saw that you've sent me a little animation actually, and it is dope. You know, wait, sorry, I feel bad because I've just skipped over a bunch of people. Edward Gemini, do you still think Alone is Spoon Girl? No, I do not. I do not think Alone is the Spoon Girl. Now I don't know if you're trolling me because I just explained that as well. I think you're messing with me. But no, if that's a genuine question, no, I don't think Alone is Spoon Girl. I never did think that she was specifically Spoon Girl, but I did see that there were some very clear links between their physical characteristics that were undeniably similar. A year is crazy. Yeah, I know, right? Waterstones is a W bookstore. They're fantastic. I love Waterstones. It's my favourite shop in town. It's my favourite place to visit. I love going in and just perusing. I don't even read that much, you know. Like I've got like not a library, but like I've got a bookshelf and everything downstairs with like hundreds of books on it, and I read. I used to read a lot more. I like reading. I find it peaceful. You know, I'm such a girl here, but I like, I'll light myself a candle and I'll play some soothing music, or I like some atmospheric music more. Like when I read this, I played the Little Nightmares soundtrack, so that I could really like delve into it. And I read it by lamplight, like really dim lamplight. So like, you know, reading like this, very spooky, with the Little Nightmares 2 OST playing in the background to really create the atmosphere. It was a shame because at the time there was no soundtrack for the carnival, which I really wanted. I really wanted to have the soundtrack for the carnival playing while I did this. I think a Little Nightmares content creator called F Vortex, who does some amazing renditions of Little Nightmares music, might have already in fact put out a video of that, or at least their own rendition of the carnival theme, which would have been ideal for me to read that too. If they haven't done it yet, I will be looking into it because it's something I'd love to listen to. But yeah, very excited. Oh, what did he say? Oh, RJ. So RJ has responded to me. He says, I believe I said 2:30 p.m. my time, so in a little over an hour from now. All right. I am live. Come say hi. There you go. I'll get RJ to pop in so that you guys can say hello. Jump scare imminent. Yeah, I love how when everyone sees the lights go off, they're sort of like, oh, jump scare. I'm all like... Nah, but we are not doing a jump scare today. I do love it, Faceless, I do. What books do you have? Mostly Harry Potter, and a lot of like philosophy books and things like that. Funnily enough, a lot of my book collection is written by YouTubers. So one of my favourite ones is called Stick a Flag in It by a YouTuber by the name of 42. His real name's Aaron Lomas, and he covers a lot of history, and he like deep dives facts. So he's not a theorist, he's like a historian. And he makes videos where he explores like really obscure and diverse topics and like really controversial stuff, but in a really exciting way. And he's got a method of storytelling that is just, it's crazy. And I'll listen to him like practically every night. I watch 42 videos, and he's wrote several books, one of which is Stick a Flag in It, and the other is called What Did the Romans Do for Us? And stuff like that. And then obviously, you know, the Harry Potters and the Lord of the Rings, and a bunch of like science and biology books, a lot surrounding nature, survival books, you know, books written by soldiers and members of the SAS and the Special Forces, and it tells stories of their how they survived during the wars and things like that, and it's just fascinating stuff. None of it really applies to the conversation here and now, but I read all kinds of stuff, mostly based on like real life events from people who have undergone pretty serious stuff that we in this day and age couldn't possibly fathom. I think it's amazing. Everyone loves the Nowhere in book form. Yeah, but they might feel a little bit different if they were wandering through it with no raincoat. What if it's a guide on how to enter the nowhere? Good shout, Kip. Yeah, that's keen. What if it is? What if it is a guide on how to enter the nowhere? What if it secretly tells us how to get in? Oh no, I don't think it will, because if the implications I spoke of earlier when I was talking about Nim and the dark implications of how you enter the nowhere are correct, even remotely so, then there is no way they'll be legally allowed to publish that book. Because enough people would try. And I shouldn't laugh because that's disgusting, but no, I don't think that's going to be the case at all. But what if? But what if? Little Nightmares made me pre-order for the first time. Lol. First Little Nightmares 3 and now the DTN comes because I need more mono content. Yeah, exactly. I think we all need more mono content. Definitely. Also, Jem, how do you feel that the Little Nightmares 3 Necropolis nighttime section is only around 10 minutes long? Well, that sucks. I mean, it's I don't know. I suppose I'm not devastated. I think it's just because whenever I hear that there's parts of the game that I'm excited for that are quite short, it's always a little bit disappointing. But that's because if it was up to me, the game would be considerably longer in like practically every capacity. So slightly disappointed, but it is what it is. I feel like if it's short, if it's a good area and it's short, there'll be a reason for that. And I do feel like they'll make it up in other areas because the Necropolis is actually the chapter that I'm least excited for. I don't know if that's a hot topic or not, but hot take. The Necropolis is the area I'm least excited for. I'm more excited for the Carnival and the Candy Factory. The Candy Factory most of all. And then even more so the DLCs, because we're completely in the dark about those. So I think that's going to be kind of wild. RJ says he's going to pop in and say hi after he eats lunch. God damn it, RJ. He's too busy stuffing his face to come and say hi to his potential new audience. Because I genuinely think you guys will enjoy RJ's content. He makes some really good stuff, and while you guys are all like veteran Little Nightmares fans specifically, just the way RJ develops his style is really good. And his editor is on point as well. Let me tell you that for free. Monty Python, what did the Romans ever do for us? Yeah, 42, that's a meaning of life. Yeah, exactly. And his name is a play on that, actually. FipsyB2 says, it's absolutely insane to me that Little Nightmares 3 is in more or less 5 days away. I remember playing thinking that the notification was fake. This game made my channel and the community was welcoming. Thank you. Yeah, exactly, Fipsy, and I'm more than grateful to this community because, like yourself, I was kind of lost without Little Nightmares. Weird, I know. Like, I was lost before I found the nowhere. Much like a lot of the visitors are. What a curious connection. Anyway. Wow, that hit home. That was cool. So, if you consider my channel before, I loved making content. I love playing video games. Little Nightmares being right at the top of that list. I thought it was an amazing game to play, and there was a lot of fun. And, just doing silly challenge, doing stuff like this, like I did at the beginning of the stream, and doing charity streams and fundraisers and challenges and silly things like that. Just playing new games and enjoying them. But there was never a direction. It was a very directionless channel, and I didn't really know where I was going. But I knew that I loved Little Nightmares, but we didn't have enough on, and I always wanted to theorise on it and to speculate. But number one, I didn't think anyone would care about my theories because I was a nobody in the community. Nobody knew who I was or cared. And we already had Just Jord. And It's Just Jord is the Little Nightmares theorist, right? And Fipsy, you're a theorist as well, you will agree. Like anybody in this chat who's a Little Nightmares theorist will probably agree most likely that It's Just Jord is the man when it comes to Little Nightmares theories. It was in fact his videos and his channel in general that inspired me to go ahead with it, to a point where I said to him, I approached Jord before I ever made a Little Nightmares theory video, and I said, look, Jord, I've got an idea. It's a Little Nightmares theory. I really think it's got legs. I can substantiate it. I've gathered evidence. I've structured the video. I think it's great, but I really don't want to seem like I'm stepping on your toes because I am straight up stealing your idea. but I want you to know you're a huge inspiration to me, and your videos have motivated me to do this kind of thing, and I'd really kind of like your blessing, as it were, to put this video out and not cause any controversy or upset you in any way. I don't want to, the last thing I want to do is upset somebody that inspired me to do something so cool. And George, being George, just went, whatever, just do it. He's just like, I don't care, just go ahead. I invite you to go and do it. He didn't even ask me to shout him out or credit him or anything. I always do. I always try and make a point of crediting Jordan one way or another, whether it be a shout out in the video after my spoiler alert, or whether I just tag him in the description of the video, just so that people know that this entire channel, the foundation of this channel, was built off the inspiration I got from this man, and I am adamant that I never ever forget my roots. I don't forget where I came from, which is another reason why I try to read all of my chat and be really interactive with you guys, because if you guys weren't here and you didn't care about me, then I would have no platform, right? I'd have no reason to be here doing this right now, and I wouldn't have like such a good community. And also, as far as Little Nightmares goes, we wouldn't necessarily be here now doing this. I wouldn't be here now doing this. Like in a way, it sort of brought us together in a strange kind of way. I just think it's cool and it's wholesome, and I believe in showing credit where it's due. That's why I read all of your comments, because say the channel does blow up and it does start to improve and expand and gets even better and bigger, then if I get to a point where I can't keep up with chat, I want you guys to remember this me, because this me will be the me with, if I had 1 million subscribers, it wouldn't matter. Like, I would still genuinely care about my audience and try and show you enough love and respect that you deserve by being here and showing me support and respect back. The difference is, at this moment in time, I'm able to physically keep up with it. But as the channel continues to grow and develop, that becomes harder and harder to do. So yeah. But anyways, so guys, I have been streaming for quite a long time, so I'm going to get back to reading a couple of these little comments here, and then I'm going to think about closing out the stream. I was really hoping that RJ would have been live before I was going to cap off, but I'm starving. I haven't eaten today because I had a lot of work to do this afternoon, then I had to go to the gym, and then obviously I had my discrepancies with the stream earlier on that I had to straighten out when I'd usually be snacking for some energy. So forgive me on that front. If you guys have not already hit the thumbs up button, please do so if you've enjoyed this content and if you like these kind of videos, and if indeed you've enjoyed being a part of my Deep and Dark Theories live stream. And I will close out with one more kind of weird theory. There will be a sacrifice, Gaius, don't you worry. Do not worry. Idiotic Bookworm says, to be honest, I don't know where I would have been without your vids, funnily enough. Oh, Bookworm, that's really kind of you to say. That's very wholesome. Again, a lot of you guys already know me and you'll have heard me say it before. But I do YouTube because of that. Like, I do YouTube because I like to be that, long distance friend that people can come to for a laugh and for entertainment and to feel some joy. If you've had a particularly bad day, it would mean the world to me. If you've had a rubbish day, it's been not so good at school, or you've got an argument with a boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever, and you come home, you're not feeling very good, so you just sit down and you turn on a Gemini video. You're just like, I'll just watch Gem for a bit, and it makes you smile. And it makes you feel like you have a friend, and it makes you feel comforted or happy or entertained or just more positive in your life in some way or another. That is my goal. Like, I'm a Little Nightmares theorist, and it's all based on this, it's all built off this foundation and everything like that, but it's actually about you guys. It's about you guys and your connection to me and your connection to YouTube in general. Just having a community like this gives you a safe and positive space and a really good environment to just enjoy your life and just to feel happier and to feel better than you do outside when you're struggling. It's another reason why I feel so happy in this live stream now, despite the fact that I've had a really stressful, high-pressure day. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't feel welcome as a part of this community, and I wouldn't feel like a staple point of it, which I do now, and that's thanks to you. I would be one of the people to try and get into the doorway. Yeah, I believe that, Kip. Gem, I hope that Little Nightmares 4 is the last Little Nightmares game. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Little Nightmares, but all good things must come to an end, and I hope that Little Nightmares will bring back and conclude 6's story. Plus, we could get some comics and stuff. Maybe still. I don't know if 4 will be the last one. It might be. But the way I see it, the way that they're expanding so exponentially at the moment, I don't think that they're planning on closing out these stories anytime soon. I think, if anything, they're planning on expanding them and capitalizing on the fact that they're so popular. That's why we have so much media. That's why we have games, comics, novels, walkthroughs, guides, VR experiences, podcasts, and now a tabletop RPG. That's another thing that could be fun. We could actually play that. Like, or at least me, and maybe even some of the creators in the community, like Step and Fipsy and people like that, we could perhaps, and this is very far out and not an immediate call to action, but perhaps we could technically throw together a Sickly Sweet campaign, and we could let you guys control the options and poll your answers. So we give you a set of 4 things, like, what would you like to do? Would you like to climb through the vent, or would you like to lift the floorboards, or would you like to run out in front of the monster and try your luck? Like, give you options and then let the chat vote on it, and then whatever you vote on as a community, we do, and then we continue building on the story from there and build it essentially like a D&D campaign, which is what that tabletop RPG Sickly Sweet was. And I could get some little characters like my Dark Six up there, and we could use the characters as the playable characters, and I could even build a makeshift environment for you guys to have to navigate, and then invent some puzzles for you to work through. Let me know if you think that would be a good idea. Yeah, in fact, feel free to discuss that. If you guys like that idea and you think it would be fun, please let me know, because that's something that I could potentially do with you guys and we could do as a community together. I think that would be fun to share and something nice to do. And again, I'm moving house, so I will restructure my office, and if that's going to be something that you guys would like me to do, I will set up, because I've got a table over there that you guys can't see, and it's for special projects. It's for stuff that I'm working on, like when I'm painting figurines, or when I'm writing, or whatever. If I'm building something mechanically, I build like little robots and stuff. But if I'm doing something like that, I could use that as my tabletop gaming area, where I would essentially be the dungeon master, or like the nowhere. And then I would dictate to you, what the environment is, what the characters are, like who the characters are, what the monsters are, what the threats are, and then I'll give you options on how to navigate the environment, and there will be consequences depending on what you choose as a community. And I'll let you guys play through that game. We'll essentially invent a Little Nightmares game that way. So we will play Sickly Sweet in much the same way it's played by the guys who were playing it at Bandai. Sorry, I've forgotten their names. I'm so sorry. But if you guys haven't watched the playthrough, it's like a 2-hour video, and it's a live stream of these guys actually playing Sickly Sweet as like an open plan Little Nightmares themed board game, and it's dope. And I feel like we could do something like that as a community. So yeah. If you guys would like to do something like that, please let me know. I am just going to take one more quick break, really fast, because I have to run to the bathroom. Should have gone earlier, and then I'm gonna close out with one silly theory, and then we'll see about raiding RJ's stream. Okay, and if RJ does decide to pop his head in here and make himself known, please say hi, drop him some nice eyeballs for me, and be sure to slide over to his channel as well, and make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss his stream, because I can't wait to see him attempt the Hard to the Core achievement. I think he can do it personally, but I'm not going to tell him that. I'm going to be in there to troll him. But you guys shouldn't. You guys should be nice to him. But anyway, yeah, I will be right back. Give me 2 minutes, guys, and bear with me. Okay, there we go. Right, just checking everybody can still hear me. Yep. Alright, let's continue. So, where was I? Sacrifice! Yes, don't worry guys, there is absolutely going to be an end of stream sacrifices. There always is. I was actually thinking of doing like putting together a collective archive of everyone that's ever been sacrificed at the end of one of these streams, and then potentially inviting them to do something silly. You know, like maybe in the future you could anybody that's been sacrificed, all of their names will be put on a spinning wheel or like pulled out of a hat, and whoever's name I draw who has been sacrificed to me, maybe I'll do a collab with them where I play Little Nightmares 3 with them on 2-player in the future. Maybe that's an idea. I don't know. Maybe it'll inspire more people to get sacrificed. Who knows? Of course, I show up as soon as Gem has to mysteriously leave. Ladies and gentlemen, foolish mortals, casual hardcore gamers, my good buddy RJ is currently in the chat. This is the guy I've been talking about practically all stream. And RJ, massively unappreciative as he is only just showing up towards the end. But he knows I'm messing with him. So, as you can tell by the poll above there, and I can end that poll now, I think. In fact, I'll give it 2 more minutes. If you guys haven't already voted on the poll as far as trophies are concerned with Little Nightmares 1, 2, and 3, please vote and let me know if you want to get all of the trophies, if you'll be intending to do that or if not. And I'm going to explain a little bit more. But first, let me just read a few of your comments, because I missed a couple of these and they're important. So, Gemini, do you know if the Little Nightmares 3 Deluxe Edition comes with DLC levels? Yes, it does come with DLC levels, but not all at once. So it's not like one thing that you get all in one sitting. They will release separately over time. So I think you'll get one that, much like the original Little Nightmares game came with 3 DLCs, but you download one and play through it, and then a couple of weeks later you get another, a couple of weeks later you get another. I think that's how it's going to work anyway. Deluxe does come with Step just basically explained everything. Yeah, the show will launch in June or July, the backstage in December. Ooh, wow, so that's a big gap in between, but a really good way to continue the hype, actually. Thank you, Step, for elaborating on that for us and taking the wheel. You always make me smile no matter how stressed or crap you feel. Just, thank you, Catsy. That's wholesome. Thank you, Catsy. You're an absolute gem. You do make me smile. Backstage launches in October 2026. Oh god, so it'll be like a year from today, watch. Or should I make a prediction? Because the last time I made a prediction, I ended up with an ice bucket challenge, which is taking place tomorrow, actually. I really wish the barber would have been in Little Nightmares 2. He looks such a cool monster. By the way, your video on the barber and how the DLC will work for the barber was so good. Thank you. Thank you, Caleb. That's really kind of you to say. And I'm really glad you enjoyed the video as well, because I worked super hard on that series, and it's not over. I'm actually working on chapter 6, which may or may not be the final part, and it'll tie a lot in as well. I think you guys will really enjoy it when it comes out. But I'm sorry it's taken so long, but it's very hard to do. Now, because without you, I never would have met so many amazing people. Started self-defense, actually got Little Nightmares 3, and have the passion to go to my dream school. I really can't thank you enough. Bookworm, that's all on you. And if I've been even a remotely positive influence on any of those decisions, then I am honoured and privileged to be a part of that. And I'm really thankful that you would include me in your life in that way. But remember, you're the one making these decisions. You're the one putting in the work. You're the one studying. You're the one training. You're the one showing up to the exercise. And you're the one that bought Little Nightmares 3. I think. Or did I buy you Little Nightmares 3? I bought you Little Nightmares 3 because you won a competition a while ago. But regardless, Idiotic Bookworm, pat yourself on the back, because as much as I've been an influence on that, and I'm so happy to, really recognise that these are your decisions. This is you making these steps. You're the one who's decided on a journey of self-improvement and have committed to it. So well done to you. But thank you very much for your kind words. That kind of impact is what I would like to have as a YouTuber and as a person of influence. Like, whether you're big or small, it's really nice to, you know, to have an impact on the audience, especially a positive one. It's like more so in today's environment, right? It'd be so cool, Kip says. Gaia says yes. I also concur that it would indeed be cool. D&D is so fun, it sounds amazing. That'd be awesome. Yeah, a lot of you guys really liking this idea. So I feel like that is something that I will start to explore. I'll have to come to terms with the logistics of it, and overcome a couple of internal challenges with regard to actually making it work. But when I figure it out, you guys will be the first to know. So don't forget to turn your notifications on so that you get to know when I actually go live with this stuff, because I will do it live. I'll have to do it live so that you guys can all vote on it. Speaking of votes, I'm going to turn that off now. I'm going to end the poll and I'm going to read the results. And the results say 84%. So out of 86 votes, 84% of you want to get all of the trophies. And I'm glad, because my good friend RJ, who is currently in the chat from Casual Hardcore Gamers, the one that's going live very shortly actually, who we're going to raid, by the way, he and I, more so him, I'm like the background guy, but he's going to be working on a platinum run. So essentially getting all the trophies for all the games, Little Nightmares 1, 2 and 3 over on his channel, and that's going to be coming up pretty shortly, because obviously Little Nightmares 3 comes out in 6 days and RJ is an absolute tank of a gamer, so he's going to walk all over it. He's going to get all the trophies, he's going to put together this video as quickly as we can collaboratively, and it's going to go up on his channel, and I'd really like you guys to see it. I think it'll be amazing. And yeah, RJ, if you've got anything to add to that, then please feel free. I am just going to scroll down real quick because I'm missing a load of this. Now, Mucky Kitty, I would love to also see Little Nightmares trading cards. I think that would be dope. Fipsy says, hey, I mean, if I do get the chance to be included as one of the hosts, it'd be an incredible idea. Yes, no doubt. What's up, Altak? How you doing? Altak, it's great to see you. Mr. Tibbs in it. Oh, Mr. Tibbs, look at you. Oh, Isaiah, like, enjoy your all-seeing eye, my brother. Thank you so much, Mr. Tibbs, for the membership up in here. What a guy. Ramey has finished the video. That was perfect timing. Ramey, I will look into that after the stream. Feel free. In fact, will you please drop me a reminder, because I'm going to be closing out the stream very shortly. Please leave a comment either under this video on the VOD or just anywhere on my channel. I read them all the time. So leave me a comment just anywhere, just saying watch my video or something like that. Or leave me an eyeball. Leave me an eyeball and say watch my video. And I will absolutely be happy to check that out for you. I think me and Jim need to have a little chat. We talked about sacrifices. Yeah, RJ might be next. What do we think, guys? Shall I sacrifice RJ? No, because we need him with your legs. Gemini, Clamori is in the chat. What's up, Clamori? How you doing? I actually intend to write to you tomorrow. I was going to send you an email. Because I have a gift for you. Because Clamori, like Idiotic Bookworm, and like a couple of other people that have been in chat today, you were also a winner from one of our previous Little Nightmares competitions where I gave away copies of the Little Nightmares game, and I've pre-ordered it for you. I pre-ordered you the physical edition. I already have your details and everything like that. I just wanted to send you like essentially a receipt, just so that you've got some confirmation of when it's coming, when it'll arrive, and what you'll actually get. So hope that's okay. I'm going to be writing to you anyway, so don't think this is like, oh, this counts as a receipt. No, it doesn't. I will be sending you the full details of the transaction over. You'll probably get that tomorrow or the following day, depending when my team are able to put that together and get it figured out. But I'm just waiting for some confirmation on this end first, because delivering things to the United States is a massive pain. Should we be scared for Little Nightmares 3 being shorter or as long as 2? I think it's going to be as long as 2, if not longer. I think it's actually going to be longer. Caleb Hibbert, sacrifice me! Gotta go, Jem. No worries, Edward. It's been an absolute pleasure having you here. Thank you so much. Look at Jem buying his fan stuff like a little sweet. Yeah, see? I told you, I am a good guy. RJ, much to contrary belief, I am actually a really good person. I am kind and wholesome. I have a big heart and a good soul. And this is a good Christian channel, and I belong in heaven. I don't eat people anymore. And Kip says... Hi Gemini, I posted my fan art of your little nightmares OC now. Sorry for saying it again. No, absolutely, you are not annoying. Kip, please, you are never ever being annoying by showing me artwork of characters I've invented. It is an honour for me to be able to witness it, and I'm so sorry that I haven't been able to look into it at the moment. Kip, just please remind me where you've posted it one more time, because I actually have Discord open. Let me see if I can find it on any of these now. Oh, faceless art and skills, you are so talented. Looking at some of the artworks on here, Overman, god damn, the Overman is really good. Yeah, let me know if it's actually on one of these Discords that I have, that I'm a part of, because I may have missed it. Or if you have me on Discord, feel free to send it directly to... Oh wait, did you send it to my email address that I shared last time? No. Is it in my spam? No. Where's my chat gone? Kip, posted on my community post on YouTube. Oh, got you, right, okay. Yeah, I tell you what then, Kip, let me just really quick. I vote for Kitty Cat Sacrifice. Yeah, I tell you, F in the chat if you got the Hard to the Core trophy from Little Diamonds one. Right, I tell you what. Let me just put up a poll for today's sacrifice, and then I'm going to just pop over and have a little look at that, and I'll share a silly theory while you guys vote for a sacrifice. So, who will satiate my hunger today? Alright, who we got? RJ. Who should we have? Alright, you guys have 4 choices to choose from. Who's going to be the sacrifice for today, guys? Let me know, and I will promptly ban them. Who will satiate my hunger today? RJ. Like, I bet the first vote that came in was for RJ, and I bet it was RJ himself that voted for it. I don't want to be a sacrifice. Yes, yeah, Caleb, the Overman is such a good little nightmares YouTuber and theorist and everything else. Like, one of the most talented creators on the platform, in my opinion. Don't ask why, I just picked Caleb. What is this BS, Paul? So, RJ, you might not be aware of this because you never ever watch my content because you hate me, but at the end of every stream, I sacrifice somebody and I essentially block and ban that person. So you will be removed from my chat. I'm going to ban you from the channel. But there are some perks that come with being a sacrifice as well. You get to satiate my hunger and add to my protein intake for the day. Yes. So I'm going to let you guys be voting on that while I tell you guys about one last little silly theory that I came up with during FipsyB2's live stream yesterday. So, think about this. In the necropolis, we see a ship. Lo and Alone get off a ship, right? And that ship is the model. So if you were to look at the model of the ship, it is the same ship that dropped the guests off at the mall. It's that exact model, okay? So we see the guests get off that ship, and now a ship of very similar size, proportions, colour and definition is crashed in the desert in the necropolis, outside of which is a guest or several guests, like presumably dead in the sand, and they are guests. They're not heard. I looked. The character models, if you like sort of like hack the camera and go underground, the character models are guests from Little Nightmares 1 from the Maw. They're not the herd from the flying ship that I suspected initially. Now, that could be down to just well, in fact it couldn't really. It's got to be very intentional, because it would be probably harder to render the guest into this game where it doesn't actually have a place than it would be to just take the guest's model that is going to feature later in this game and hide it somewhere for some unknown obscure reason. So that ship is presumably the same ship that drops guests off at the Maw, and we see a guest there. Now, this could hint something at what the monster baby's purpose is. The monster baby could be designed by the dwellers as essential, and this is a silly theory, so forgive me if I'm tripping over myself a little bit, but the monster baby could be essentially a mech, like a giant mech suit designed to protect, or maybe even designed to build the necropolis. Because you notice there's huge stones, right? There's a big huge stones that the monster baby wouldn't have any trouble moving around, you know, lifting and dropping and putting down. It wouldn't have any problem doing that if it was under control, but it's no longer under control. And what we do know is that boat is linked to the Maw, the guests are linked to the Maw, and the monster baby's weaponized eye is linked to the Maw. So could it be that the dwellers initially built the monster baby out of clay, out of porcelain, and that's why she's got like that huge doll aesthetic, and she's controlled through kinetic manifestos, like all of the other stuff we see. So, you know, the windmills and the turbines and all of the technology we see, it's all controlled by the dwellers moving, like pulling levers and pulling ropes and controlling it like a giant mechanism, right? The inside of the monster baby could work exactly the same, with a group of people inside the monster baby pulling and pushing and pulling and pushing and moving stuff around. Now, the monster baby could have initially been used to build the necropolis, but then when these people, something came from the Maw on this ship, and it invaded and it hijacked the monster baby and has now taken over, it weaponized the monster baby, and it turned it from a tool, you know, it turned it from a crane, a mechanized system with which to build, into a super weapon, a weapon designed to destroy the necropolis and to bring the dwellers and the people who live in the necropolis to their knees. And they weaponized it by taking over its massive form and weaponizing its eye. So anybody that was to speak out against it could just be frozen in time. Do we think that there is any ties other than the ones that I have just stated? Like, we know the boat is from the Maw, we know that the guests from the Maw, there's people, something from the Maw came to the necropolis. Could that thing have potentially weaponized or corrupted the monster baby in some way and turned it on the dwellers that it was supposed to serve? Silly theory. I haven't really thought much about it. It literally came to me in 50B2's live stream last night, and I just thought it was fun to think about and it would be cool to explore. So if you guys have any thoughts or theories or speculations on that, then yeah, you know, have a think about it, because it just seems strange that the only other place that we really see the eye is on the Maw, unless you count the eyeballs that are at the nest as well, but we know that place is corrupt and evil. But it would make sense because the dwellers, the only thing that they really seem to do is so we find a secret room in the Little Nightmares 3 demo, and there's a lot of this around. They build a lot of pots, you know, like masonry pots and things like that, don't they? Like vases, or vases, whichever one you say. And they've got like huge kilns where they specialise in pottery and forming porcelain, much the same as the monster baby is made entirely out of. So it stands to reason that the dwellers themselves have the capability and the resources to build the monster baby in her entirety and control her inner workings the same way they control everything else in their environment, with a system of pulleys and a team of people with regard to monitoring and controlling these mechanisms. So she would work like a huge mech, right? But she was a tool. she was a tool built for that. She was a tool designed to build the necropolis. But whatever came from the Maw weaponized the monster baby and turned it on its creators and used it to lay waste to the necropolis and to punish anybody that spoke out against it, using the weaponized eye that came from the Maw or was designed by the people on the Maw. And that's why we find the ship there. That's why we find the guests from the Maw in the necropolis desert. And that's why the monster baby has the all-seeing eye that will turn you to stone. Anyway, what do you guys think of that? Just a random little theory before we call this a day. So, boy, if you ban me, I will haunt your Discord. I don't doubt that, RJ. You haunt my dreams already. I did explain that earlier as I'm a hardcore fangirl. Mr. Tibbs has been saved. I'm so scared of the recent leaks, like I have to dodge reflex. Yeah, honestly, I scroll through YouTube like this, you know, like, oh, what do I want? I don't want to see this. There's a lot that I do want to see, but there's a lot that I don't as well. Evangelium in Little Nightmares reconfirmed. But I thought it was the little girl from the new Claymation. Yeah, exactly. That's why I say, Psychonaut, that is just like a silly theory. It's a silly theory that kind of alludes to, like, you know, it's just something that came to me. I thought it was a funny thought. I don't really have a lot of evidence to substantiate it other than what I've just divulged. And I do believe that the actual ties to the monster baby are more dead set in one of my most recent theory videos, the simulation theory. And if you want me to go fully in depth in that, watch that video, because I literally deep dive it and I give some annotations and an explanation as to why I think that the girl from the Claymation series is actually Monster Baby and how she ties into the necropolis and so on. But I won't go into that now because I'm closing out the stream and I do want to go eat before RJ goes live as well. More colonization is real. Something from the Maw came to the necropolis. Sorry, that tickled me, Bookworm. Good job. Maybe 6 came there after. Yeah, maybe it could be something. What if it is something to do with 6? What if 6 came with it? What if 6 came with it? Oh no, that was the only way off the Maw. We hear a shit. Okay, last thing. At the end of Little Nightmares 1, 6 escapes from the Maw, but she doesn't escape the Maw, she's just like stranded on the island that is the top of the Maw that's bobbing above the ocean. And then just before the credits roll, we press X and we hear a sound. What was that sound? Do you guys remember? It was a ship. It was a ship that was presumably coming to pick up or to drop off more guests. What if 6 then boards that ship with her superpowers that she gained from the lady, takes out all of the guests, wipes out everything on board, makes her way to the necropolis, hijacks the monster baby, and then she decides to lay waste to it because she's a monster? What if 6 crashes the Maw? Stop voting for me, I'm Jem's best friend. Shut up, Mr. Tibbs. You subjected me to these earlier. I've been on fire twice today on account of you and your bull. Give me that best friend nonsense. Yeah. But I do thank you for your generous donation. Anyway. Yeah, best friend who makes me spicy. Thank you, Catsy. Yeah, see, Catsy's on my side. Right then, guys. This has been absolutely dope. We've covered a lot in this stream. We've talked about some super dark theories. We've talked about The Lonely Ones by E.C. Myers, this incredible book. We've talked about my new semi-favourite character, Mim, and her implications. We've talked about ways to get into the nowhere. Hello, Aaron Stockton. Hi, by the way. I'm not ignoring you. I'm just closing out the stream. I'm really sorry that I didn't get to interact with you very much. But I do very much appreciate you being here. But I am going to call this a day and close out this stream. And we need to sacrifice someone. Who is voting? Okay, I'm going to end the poll in 3, 2, 1. Boom. Alright, let me have a look. 22 people voted and the votes are in. And the winner is FipsyB2. a fellow Little Nightmares theorist and streamer who is also going live tonight after RJ. So that's actually going to work out. For those of you guys that aren't done consuming Little Nightmares content yet, you still have an exciting night in store. I hope that you will join me and FipsyB2 and probably Catsy and a bunch of I think we're all going to go together and we're going to raid casual hardcore gamers. I am going to just check that he hasn't already started a live stream. He hasn't, so what I'm going to do is I am going to post a link in the chat right now. This is a link to rigged. Clamori rigged. Blood and fire. I'm going to leave a link to RJ's channel right there. I really hope to see a lot of you guys over in his chat because RJ doesn't go live very often. It's a massive rarity, and like I say, there is a lot to look forward to coming up on his channel that I will be a part of, so it will mean a lot to me if you guys will go over there and show my boy some love. He says he'll be live in half an hour, so don't forget, pop over to his channel right now using the link that I've supplied in the description there. Turn on notifications so that you don't miss it, because I promise you're not going to want to miss this because he's trying the hardest challenge that we've all struggled with at one point or another. Feel free to go show him some love and also give him a little bit of jip as well for me, since he's been so rude. And make sure you drop him some all-seeing eyes in the chat, and you guys will get to interact with me further if you want to as well, because I will be there. And then I imagine shortly after that stream takes place, my boy FipsyB2 will be going live, wherefore he is going to play Little Nightmares 3 with his viewers. So I will actually include FipsyB2's link in the description as well. A lot of you guys will already know who FipsyB2 is. He's right there. But just for argument's sake, or anyone that doesn't know, or anyone that's struggling to get the link, this right here is FipsyB2's channel link. So, go over to RJ in half an hour. Notifications on, drop some eyeballs in the chat, and for now, it is time. FipsyB2, do you have any last words? I'm waiting. Sub the hell out of you, Fipsy. See you after the release, Marto. Sub to Fipsy, W Mr. Tibbs. Yes, massive W's. Fipsy, a fine choice for some last words. I hope you got more to say during your stream, my brother. Stay safe, little ones. Goodbye, Fipsy. And with that, foolish mortals, we close out an excellent live stream where we've covered a whole bunch of stuff. I've had a lot of fun. Thank you so much to the people that generously donated to Mama Gemini earlier on. Stay tuned. I am going to be doing my challenge tomorrow where I will be ice bucketed. So I've done the fire. Tomorrow I do the ice, and I will have completed the fire and ice sacrifice that I've had to make on account of being wrong about the Little Nightmares release date, and also just because you guys are so kind that you'd like to see me in pain. Check out RJ, check out FipsyB2, and I will see you all in the next one. But until then, little ones, that's game over.